We're live. It looks like we're live. Looks like we made it to the live stream once again. Another certified classic, to be sure, Mason 90K live stream. Let me just put this over here, get this ready to go. Why is that over there? There we go. There we go. There we go. We're going to pop out this chat window. Put it over here. You think I'd get this ready to go before the stream, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's a learning experience, as I say every time. You think I might have learned by now, but you know. Hello, 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 everybody. How's it hanging this fine evening? A little later stream than normal, but I had to get everything set up. Had to get everything ready. Why is this not letting me do what I want to do? Let me restore that and try it again. Try it again. There we go. It's working a little better now. My chat window here. I might even just leave it in there. Might even just do that. How you doing, Miss Fish? How you doing, Michael? Welcome back once again to another stream. This is a big deal stream. Very excited to do this one. Wait for the stream to populate a little bit again. How's everybody's day been? How's everybody's April Fool's Day been? Has anybody been fooled by any articles or videos or announcements today? It's one of those days where people will post like a Twitter news account or like an Instagram account or even sometimes a YouTube video will post like an announcement and you're like, oh my gosh, and then it hits you. Oh, it's April Fool's Day. Why did I fall for it? I got all excited. One of our executive producers, Lapis Lazuli VA, big friend of the channel, I was going to send them an announcement of Transformers 1's sequel being announced, and then I realized it was April Fool's Day, and I felt terrible because we all want the Transformers 1 sequel. It was a great movie. But alas, I hope someday it happens. I certainly hope so. Let me start recording this here in a second because I'm gonna wait for a few more people to get in here. This is gonna be a great video. It's gonna be a stream and it's gonna be a video for the channel. Thanks for all the hearts. What's up, Satoru Purple? How's it going? By now you've seen the title of the stream. You all know what we're doing. But we're gonna wait for a few more people to get in, catch up, and then we'll start. But we're ranking every Pixar film. I've seen every single one of them. Officially seen all of them. Had to watch a few over the last few days that I hadn't seen yet or hadn't seen in a good minute. Had to refresh myself. But we're ranking them all. We're gonna do a tier list, and then that should help me be able to formulate like a numbered one that I could probably put in at the end of the video or whenever. But it'll be a tier list. I got a tier list over here on my other screen. We're gonna do. Watched them all, thought about it long and hard. Still can deliberate over it here in the stream, you know. But that's what we're gonna do. That's the plan. That is the plan. Also got all my graphics for the stream as well I can put up so we know what we're talking about, you know? So you guys can see what movie I'm talking about at what specific time. That'll be pretty good. So, get this started, I guess. Since we're ready. Looks like we're ready to go. I'll also give time for you guys to say where you think these individual movies would go on the tier list. But to start, Pixar kind of changed the game when it came to animation in general, like mainstream animated films in general. It was sort of groundbreaking for computer animation, whereas traditional animation had kind of ruled the world for a long time. Then Pixar comes out with the first feature-length 3D animated film, Toy Story. That broke new ground, kind of changed the game for everybody, and now the dominant mainstream film animation style is computer-generated animation. However you feel about that, I think there's great works of art no matter what in animation. I'm the animation guy. I'm Mr. Animation. Ignore Schaefer Liz and everybody else who does this. Just kidding. I'm one of the many people who yaps about animation online, and it's fun to rank things. It's fun to put things in tier lists, you know, especially whenever you get to know the person. And people have asked me all the time, like, what did you think of this movie or this movie? This will be a good way and a fun way here live to rank them, put them in order, let you guys know how I feel about these movies. And even though we're going to disagree, we're probably going to disagree on a few of them. That's fine. It's going to happen. Happens to everybody. We all disagree. That's okay. Discourse is good. Discourse is good. Positive, negative, doesn't matter. Whether it's negative or positive, it boosts my engagement. So, jokes aside, let me show you this tier list here. Boom. There it is. Good old classic tier list screen. It's in chronological order. That's the way we're going to go through them. And I'm going to spend some time kind of explaining my reasoning as to where I put them, discussing each film, and then I'll put them where I feel that they go. With tier lists, you know, S is like the best of the best, A is great, B is good, C is kind of like middle of the road, D is below average, E is bad, I would say, F is terrible. And I'll explain my reasonings more and more as we go through this. But to get it started in here, we're going to talk about Toy Story, right? The very first Pixar film ever made, the first 3D animated film ever released to the public, Toy Story. And for being the very first of its kind, what a revolutionary movie. And what a movie that still holds up today, like incredibly well today. I grew up with this movie, as a lot of people did. I think it's one of those like staple clamshell VHS tapes that everybody had growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s. It's a classic for many reasons. I'll start with the positives on these movies as I go, and then kind of work towards the negatives if I feel any, you know. Positives about Toy Story, I mean, there's so many. The story is so simple, and that's kind of why I love it. It is a very simple... how many have we done yet? Oh, we're just starting. We're going in chronological order, so we haven't even put one in yet. You're right on time. For being like the first of its kind, these movies would get more and more complex as they went. Toy Story kept it simple. It kept it basic. It's about rivalry, jealousy between two people who want to do a good thing for a kid. You know, Buzz kind of learns as the film goes on. Yeah, he's not a space ranger. He is not this fictional hero that this kid idolizes, but he still is idolized by this kid either way. Even if he is not the real Buzz Lightyear, he is someone that matters to a child. And Woody has to realize that, you know, bringing happiness to this person, bringing happiness to this kid involves being shared with other toys. He doesn't have to have a favorite. They just have to be there for him no matter what. And that message is very important. It's a beautiful one. It's a funny one. This is a funny movie. It's a very funny movie. Like, still gets very loud laughs out of me. I quote it from beginning to end, no problem. I cannot miss a line. Like, I've told this story before, but I was at a buddy's house. He put this movie on like his TV in the living room on Disney Plus, and he told me to turn around to kind of test my recollection of the movie. He told me to turn around. He put the movie at a random spot and played it on accident, right? And it was just a random ambient sound, and I went, "Are we in Sid's room?" And it scared the hell out of him, because we were. I knew exactly where we were in the movie based on that. I don't know if that should be a proud moment. It's a weird one. I've definitely seen it a lot, but Toy Story's great. I think Toy Story, without a doubt, is worthy of A, in my opinion. Why A instead of S? Well, I think there is a Toy Story sequel that's a little bit better, and we'll get to it when we get to it. But Toy Story is a classic. It deserves A at a minimum. There's really no point in putting it below that, in my opinion. How we feeling, chat? How we feeling so far about A for Toy Story? How we feeling? There are no signs of intelligent life anywhere. How are we feeling? We all agree there. Does anybody think it's an S? I had a friend I talked to recently that said he thinks Toy Story is an S, and I'd say it's a fair shot. I think. Oh, I should probably talk about negatives too. One of the very few negatives of the film, which is it's very little. The animation being the first, there's some issues with it. I think it was very smart to make the characters plastic, and I'm glad we focused the whole movie on them. If we focus on the humans a little bit, they look a little off, and the dog, especially Sid's dog. But that's just comes with the time. Not really their fault necessarily, just early primitive animation software. But if that's the only issue with it, A. Easy A. Now, the next film we have to talk about, Toy Story comes out, it's a banger, right? Pixar says, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make Bug's Life. A Bug's Life, gotta be honest, not a huge fan of A Bug's Life. Not a bad movie. It's not bad, in my opinion. I enjoy it. I think it's totally fine. Very serviceable, easy film, inoffensive for the whole family, I think the big positives with the film are, I like its message. I think the best scene in the film is toward the end whenever the protagonist stands up to Hopper, the grasshopper, and rallies all of the ants to him saying, like, we outnumber you. We know our worth. We know the goods that we provide. And you're just trying to keep us in line by fear because you know that we outnumber you 10-1. And that's a very strong scene in the film. I really enjoy that. The issue, though, is I wish I liked the characters more for that to hit even harder. I don't love any of the characters in this movie. Don't hate them either. I don't hate any of the characters necessarily. Don't greatly dislike any of them. I like Hopper, I think, as a villain. I think he's very effective. He works to help that message work. But Fleck, the main character, doesn't do a whole lot for me. He doesn't have a really interesting journey. He messes everything up and fixes everything at the end. And, to quote Doug Walker from however many years ago, it's a valid criticism, though, as funny as it is. It has that liar revealed story where, like, oh, you said you were hero bugs, but you're circus bugs, and you even though you were effectively going to save the day and your plan was going to work, you lied to us, so go away, and it endangers everybody for no reason. And I'm not a fan of that whole story beat. I think it slows the movie down, especially in its second half. The circus bugs, they're funny, but I guess the best way to put it is they're funny, but they're only funny because, like, they just do their one bit over and over. Like, they do their one gag consistently. There's, like, the ladybug, who everybody thinks is a lady. There's, like, the grass. I think it was, like, it's like the stick bug, and, the big worm wants to be a butterfly. They don't really evolve past their gags. They don't do a whole lot besides that, which you could say the same thing about Toy Story, but there's more of the toys in Andy's room for me to like them more, especially within the sequels, that I feel attached to those side characters more than I do the circus bugs. But with all that said, with those negatives out of the way, it's still a good movie. The animation's pretty good. I like the zoomed in sort of micro world that we live in. I think there's some fun visual gags here and there with how the animals live, or not animals, how the bugs live in their society, how they work. But for the most part, though, I don't think it's a strong film by any means. I wouldn't really rush to watch it again, but if it was on TV, I might stick around and enjoy it a little bit. I think Bug's Life, with its issues, though, it's not a bad film. I think it's a perfect C. It's a good, middle-of-the-road, perfectly fine movie. Inoffensive. You can enjoy it if it's on. Movie. It does what it's supposed to do. That's the way I feel about it. That's just how I feel. That's how we're feeling tonight on the stream. That's how Mason IDK is feeling this evening on Bug's Life. I'm starting to wonder if I liked Ants more, but I haven't seen Ants in a good minute. I need to check out Ants again. We'll do that for the DreamWorks tier list. I'll have to rewatch Ants. I haven't seen it in years. How are we feeling about that, guys? How are we feeling? Good so far? For me, Toy Story, while it's a bit overrated, is still great. Plus, it's funny as hell. Toy Story is funny as hell. It really is. Very, very funny. Bug's Life is a B or C. Yeah. Ants is aggressively mid, even more so than Bug's Life. Yeah, I don't remember a whole lot of it. I'd have to see. I would have to take a look at Ants again to see how I feel about it. I remember Ants had a huge cast. Like that was DreamWorks' whole big thing. I mean, I know Pixar did it, but they didn't draw attention to it as much as DreamWorks as like the celebrities until later. Later it became a big thing for them, but at first it was like the characters were more of a thing. Anyway, we got Toy Story Day. We got Bug's Life at Sea. Let's keep going. Let's keep moving on. So Bug's Life, kind of a step down a little bit from Toy Story. Kind of a step down, but after Bug's Life, they're working on this direct-to-DVD Toy Story movie, and they decide, hey, let's make it theatrical. Let's change the story a little bit. Let's bump it up to a theatrical release. Let's make Toy Story 2. And let me get this right out of the way. I normally would chat about how I feel about these movies, but I'm just going to do this right now, okay? S tier. Toy Story 2 is one of the easiest S tiers of my life. And I will explain why. I'll explain it right now. Toy Story 2, it's kind of amazing what it was able to do with everything that worked so well with Toy Story 1. Like, everything that movie did right, Toy Story 2 did better, and with more emotion and more new characters that actually worked as new characters. They didn't just feel like, oh, here's new toys to sell. It felt like new additions to challenge the protagonists, challenge them on their beliefs and ideals, to take the story of Woody in the first film and give that role essentially to Buzz, someone trying to convince another, hey, you have value for this kid, you have value for this person. You need to come home. You are a toy. I think that's brilliant, brilliant writing for those characters. Woody's journey in this film is so great and beautiful and so heartwarming to watch that it wraps me up every single time. And just like the first movie, this is a funny ass movie. It's very funny. I'd argue even funnier than the first movie. There are jokes here that work so well that don't feel dated in any way. They just feel right for the characters to make those jokes. Like Rex being like a nerd gamer. You have like the scene where they go to Al's toy barn, you know, and they go hang out in Al's toy barn, and Ham drives the car and hits on Barbie. They introduce Barbie in this movie and she's hilarious. It's a great movie. And yes, as someone in the chat here said, Jessie, enough said, Jessie as a character, excellent. Jessie works so well. Actually, the whole Roundup gang works very well within the story. They're great additions. Bullseye is just a really funny, silent comedic relief character, but also even gets a little bit of emotion towards the end. Like he forms a real bond with Woody before anybody else does. Jessie has her whole scene where she just goes through this memory of being lost and left behind by Emily, her previous owner. It's heartwarming. It's beautiful. It's such a simple scene, but it works so well. And every time it never feels out of nowhere. It never feels out of nowhere to me. It feels so earned. And you understand her perspective. And then you get the Prospector, the best twist villain they've ever done. Without a doubt. Like, it works so well because you genuinely like the guy. Like, you feel like he's giving Woody every chance. Like, okay, dude, come on, hang out with us. I'll be chill with you. I'll reason with you. And then he can't do it. And he turns on him and it just works. Just works so well as a villain. Toy Story 2 is great. What else can I even say about Toy Story 2, man? It's a perfect sequel, in my opinion. One of the greatest sequels ever made, without a doubt. It's an easy S tier Pixar film. Might be their best, but hey, there's a few more that I think belong in S. I think there are a few more just from looking at it. We'll get to them when we get to them. Getting a lot of agreement in chat on Toy Story 2. Getting a lot. Easily the best sequel. What's up, Chris? Welcome. Can't think about When She Loved Me without starting to cry. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how the scene does it every time, because I've seen it. I've watched Toy Story 2, I think, even more than the first one. I remember as a kid, I have more memories of watching Toy Story 2 on VHS than I do of the first one, even though I had both. What a great movie. Excellent film. Excellent. Great. Can't beat it, man. It's Toy Story 2. This is what we got so far. Toy Story 1 is amazing, but they just did such a great job improving it. I don't think we're going to get better than that. Although, there's still Toy Story 3 and 4. We'll see where they go. We'll see. Have a little, anticipation. But the next movie we got after Toy Story 2, we have good old Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc. comes next. Monsters Inc. also classic Pixar. This is when I think they were like riding high for a bit. Like they had the first Toy Story, went down a little bit for Bug's Life. Not terrible, but it was kind of like compared to Toy Story. Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc. is right up there on that level, I think. Almost S tier. We'll see how I feel about it. Monsters Inc. is great. Monsters Inc. is such an imaginative film. Like it takes that idea of like monsters having a day job and monsters not being really like scary monster bad creatures. They're just doing their work. I like the society that they live in. I like Monstropolis, I think they call it. Is that what it is? Monstropolis? I could be totally wrong. But I love the world they live in. I think that John Goodman and Billy Crystal are just as good of a pair as Tom Hanks and Tim Allen. I think they work just as well, if not even a little better. Like there's more scenes of Mike and Sully cutting it and being buddies and just trying to get through this situation than like Woody and Buzz are like at ends or like at odds with one another in both of their films. We get more of them being buddies in Monsters Inc. Billy Crystal's hilarious in this movie. John Goodman's really funny too. The scene when and this is the animation. This is entirely the animation department being great for physical comedy. When he thinks that Boo is getting like crushed in that trash compactor and he's got those crazy faces. That's funny. It's very funny. And it works flawlessly every time for me. What else can I say? I love the villains in this movie. We get two great villains in this movie. Two great bad guys. You get Waternoose and you get Randall. Randall is just a really good like rival. Steve Buscemi. It's Steve Buscemi. Born to play a character that looks like that, if I'm being honest. It's such a fun rivalry between him and Sully. And like I love the idea that Sully doesn't take it as seriously as he does. It's just a scare record to him. And that person is the perfect person to manipulate into working for someone like Waternoose, who might be one of the most evil Pixar villains ever. It might be Waternoose. There's one that I could say is more evil, but you know, there's that iconic I'd kidnap 1,000 children before I let this company die. That is so evil and dark, and he's doing it just for like this evil capitalist sort of corporate greed. You know, he's like, oh, I got to keep the city alive, but it's also for like money, and it's so evil. Kind of complex for a movie marketed mostly towards kids, but Monsters Inc.'s great. Also, the score for this, I haven't talked much about the scores yet. Randy Newman does the music for, I think most of these is Randy Newman for these first few anyway. Love his music for this one. Not a huge fan of his music for like Bug's Life. Love the piano, jazzy saxophone opening to this, the little 2D animated opening. Love Wouldn't Have Nothing If I Didn't Have You. Love that song. It's funny. Great movie, Monsters Inc. Very cute. Great ending. You know, it's Monsters Inc. I think, again, Pixar's riding high. If I had to rank this one, I don't know if I put it as high as Toy Story 2, but I am going to put it in A. I think it's an A tier Pixar. It's one I'd rewatch anytime. Very funny. You got Mike Wazowski. You got James P. Sullivan. You got Randall. You got Waternoose. You also got Celia, and you got Roz. I think the scene when Mike is like, oh, Roz, my tender oozing blossom. I think that's some of the funniest, like Billy Crystal. You can tell that was like improv. I don't think that was even in the script. It's just Billy Crystal doing Billy Crystal stuff. Monsters Inc. is great. Classic. Easy A tier. Easy A. Get a drink here. We're making progress. We're moving on through these rankings. Moving on through. Feeling good. We agreeing so far? We feeling good? I think, you know, just from looking this from like a zoomed out perspective, right? I think a lot of these are probably going to end up in A. I think there's a good amount I can see just from looking at them I feel will be A. I don't think I'm going to have too many in F. We'll see. But I feel good about a lot of these movies. I think Pixar has a pretty good catalog. There's some parts where they've fallen off somewhat recently, but we'll see where we get there. Mike has what you call green ball energy. I agree. Very powerful green ball energy. There's the classic question of, does he wink or does he blink? Who knows? It's a mystery. It's a mystery to solve. You know, before I started the stream, before I continue, just want to do a little aside here real fast. My best friend in the world, Elizabeth, who, you know, might be watching, or who knows, betrayed me today and sent me right before streaming, right before I turned this camera on to start, sent me an image of a fresh roll from Texas Roadhouse. Elizabeth didn't tell me they were going to Texas Roadhouse. I wasn't informed. This is what I get on April Fool's Day. This is my prank. Not even a prank. It's not like, funny, I can laugh after. I'm just betrayed. I've been betrayed by my best friend. They went to go eat Texas Roadhouse without me. But that's fine. Who needs them? Who needs Elizabeth tonight? I'm here with chat. I'm talking about Pixar movies. Let's continue. Just gotta get over it. Just gotta get over it. I know, how dare they? I know. But it's fine. I hope Elizabeth watches this back. Sees that. They better bring you food. I don't think Elizabeth will. I doubt it. Anyway. We got Monsters, Inc. Now, another one for the Pixar list of bangers here. Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo was one, when I was younger, man, I would have told you this was like S tier easy when I was younger. I used to watch it all the time. Used to watch it all the time when I was younger. Quoted it consistently. Thought Dory was hilarious. Thought Marlin was great. Thought everything was really good about this one. Loved the music, the beautiful, I think it was it Thomas Newman that did the score for this one? Either way, gorgeous music. And great. I have changed a little bit on it, I will say, but it's still great. I do think it's a very, very good movie. There are some things that are holding it back for me a little bit, but to get the positives out of the way, because there are tons of them. There are tons of positives to get out of the way. The first is the setting itself. I think the underwater, the ocean environment is so pretty. Like, this was them stretching animation, because notoriously in animation, 3D animation, 2D animation, doesn't matter what kind, water's notoriously difficult. And they made a whole film that took place in water with fish. Not easy to do. And they pulled it off beautifully. Another positive for the film, I like the relationship between Marlin, his son, and also like the friendship between him and Dory. I think it works. Albert Brooks does a great job playing that and growing as a character, starting out very strong, but you understand, or like very, I guess not strong, but strict, I should say. Starting out very strict, but you understand why he is that way. The opening scene is heartbreaking, and you can kind of see how he used to be. You could see Nemo in him in the opening scene. I really think that's strong, because when he becomes very protective, you know where Nemo gets the adventurous stuff from, because I think Marlin had it at the beginning. I really do. I like the journey to go find Nemo. One of my favorite scenes in any Pixar movie is the scene when the information sort of travels like telephones from Marlin telling a story on the turtle's back to the turtle telling a story to another fish telling the story, and it just goes all the way to Nigel, who then delivers it to Nemo. And it's this beautiful moment where the dialogue, the sweeping transition shots, and the music come together in this gorgeous, gorgeous moment for Pixar. I think that's really where it comes together. I do think, however, if I'm going to get into negatives from me, I don't think the Nemo story is as strong as the Marlin story. It's not bad. I like Gil as far as like the fish tank people. I like the shark bait joke that they make. I like all that, but I don't think their story is as compelling as Marlin and Dory trying to get to Nemo. When they finally get to Nemo, though, the climax is really good. Very sad. Love the scene where Dory is like, I don't want to forget, and when I'm with you, I remember. Beautiful stuff, especially from a comic relief character like Dory. But again, that's my biggest issue with the film. I think it's not as strong in the second half as it is in the, or like, not second half, but second storyline, I should say, as it is in the main storyline. But it's still very good. Nowhere near bad. Nowhere near mid. I don't think it's as good as Monsters, Inc. or Toy Story 1, but still very good. So if I had to put it somewhere on the list, we got to throw it on the tier list. Whew, I think it's a good B. I think it is. B is not bad. Not at all. B is still very good. I would still watch it. I just think as I've gotten older, it's gotten less strong as it was when I was younger. That's just the way I feel about Finding Nemo. Let me know in the chat if you agree with me or disagree with me. Let me know in the comments of the video version of this if you agree or disagree with me. We're going to talk about it. Ooh, some people was the first movie they saw in theaters, Finding Nemo. Did I see Finding Nemo? I think I did. I think I did see Finding Nemo in theaters. I was very young. Gil is great, yeah. Just keep swimming. Talking about like the side characters here, like the Radiator Springs people and all that good stuff. Wish Nemo's whale could have gotten to talk. Yeah. It's the best looking film. It's gorgeous to look at, yeah. Especially the underwater sequences in the ocean and all that. So, we got this going on. We got a A through a C. We don't have anything below a C yet. And if I'm going to be honest, we're not going to have anything there for a minute because after Finding Nemo, Pixar decides, you know, that was good. We need another masterpiece. We got to have another masterpiece on our hands. And they made one. They made The Incredibles. They made The fucking Incredibles. Man, sorry to swear, but the damn Incredibles was made. What does one even say about The Incredibles? Well, how do you even start for The Incredibles? Where do you begin with how good this is? Like, I'm genuinely, it's like, you got to get all your thoughts together, you know? Brad Bird comes in and is like, hey, Pixar, I'm going to make like some of the best movies in your studio's history. And this is going to be my first one. The Incredibles, so I did a video on my Patreon, patreon.com/Mason, or Mason, damn it, I think it's patreon.com/MasonIDK, yeah. I did a video on my Patreon, patreon.com/MasonIDK, by the way, if you want to join, it's only a couple bucks, as I did an exclusive video for Patreon. And that video was me ranking my favorite superhero films of all time. This was like top 5, without a doubt. And I don't see any reason why, if you're making a list of the best superhero movies ever made, you don't include The Incredibles. I don't see a reason why you don't. Just because it's not based on a comic book doesn't matter. These characters are so well written, so well rounded, funny, charming, likable, and also you understand them in a way that you don't understand a lot of other superheroes in film. You know, you understand them more in comics. Excuse me. You understand them more in comics than you do in film because you get more time with them. Whereas The Incredibles, in just like an hour and a half, gives you all that time with this family. That's what Brad Bird was so concerned about when making this film, was the family aspect of it. That's what mattered the most. And this family's great. They really are. We get a heavy focus on Bob, Mr. Incredible, but that doesn't mean his family's left out. Like, Elastigirl is wonderful. Violet, Dash, those feel like real kids to me. Like, Dash especially, when you write little kids in movies, they're kind of underwritten or overwritten. They don't act like real kids. Dash acts like a real boy, and his personality matches his powers and his abilities. Every character is written to match their abilities so well. It's so well done. It's kind of a meme that the best Fantastic Four movie ever made is The Incredibles. I kind of think that's true in some regards. But you all know me. More than likely, if you're here in the live stream, if you're here on the channel, you're here because of my tongue-tied. you're here because of my video on animated villains, more than likely. It's my most viewed video. Syndrome is the best of the best when it comes to Pixar villains, and there's no contest. He's one of the best when it comes to villains in movies, period. Like, the most evil, diabolical, almost gets away with it bad guy that we've seen in any of these movies, and I'd argue in any superhero film. He's murdered so many people. So many heroes died to this character. Perished. And you see all of that when Mr. Incredible goes to check out like the data for the Omnidroid, and you see all these heroes just dying and dying and dying, and it's tragic. And you get that it all comes from spite. It all comes from this, you know, I couldn't be a hero, even though you could be, and he misinterprets Mr. Incredible. He misinterprets that character. And I've seen a lot of people also misinterpret the character. I'll kind of, did the stream crash for anybody? Okay, good. We're good. Just checking. Just checking. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I was in the middle of a thought, and then I had to check the stream. Okay. It happens. I guess what I was, what was I trying to say? I lost my train of thought because I checked up my stream health. I got to make sure everybody can see what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, that's where we go. I'm going to go to bat for Mr. Incredible for a little bit because I think a lot of times he gets misinterpreted as like, you know, this movie's whole argument is that if you can't be a hero without powers, you know? I don't think that's what the film's argument is. I think it's ultimately your attitude toward being a hero. Buddy, aka Syndrome, wants to be a hero for glory and fame and pride, and Mr. Incredible does not. Yes, there's part of him that misses the glory days, misses going out and fighting bad guys and getting the attention and going on the news and all that stuff. But ultimately, what he misses is saving people and being a good person. There's that great scene when he's in the office and the boss is kind of deriding him and giving him all this crap, and he looks out the window and sees that person getting mugged, and he cannot handle that someone is in trouble. It drives him crazy that he's not doing the right thing right now, especially working for an insurance company, which is what you're supposed to do, but they don't. They get taken advantage of. Just incredible stuff, incredible writing and examples of these characters behaving like these characters. It's an amazing, amazing film. Yeah, there's really no contest for me. Like, we'll just go right ahead. Yeah. Easy S. Easy S tier. Our second S tier of the list. It's Pixar doing what Pixar does best. It's great directing and writing doing what it does best. One of the best superhero movies ever made. It's The Incredibles. Flawless. Genuinely flawless. How we feeling, chat? About this list so far? Sorry if there's connection issues on my stream. I'm very sorry. It happens. Messaging someone right quick. There we go. Sonic drip goes hard. Thank you. I like this hat. I'm a big fan of the hat. Got a new hat I'm going to start wearing, though, in videos. Coming. Came here to defend the movie when he gets to it. Hey, you are totally allowed. You guys are totally allowed. It's all opinion. Looking at younger Bob before the time skip. That's a 30-year-old's head, all right. One of the things I like, yeah, they really do age the characters very well and handle their designs, which is funny because, like, their designs are very comic book and very exaggerated, but they feel like they belong in that world. Like, it's the perfect amount of cartoony and the perfect amount of, you know, silly and, like, serious. I think it works very well. That's what I like about a lot of Brad Bird's movies in general, too. But, moving on from The Incredibles, Pixar's on a hot streak. They've done some of their best movies. And then they make Cars. This one's gonna be, I think, kind of divisive for people, depending on where I put this here. I'm not a fan of Cars. Never really, okay, it's okay. It's a decent movie. I think there's good stuff about it, but it doesn't feel the same to me as these other movies that we've talked about so far. There's a difference in what it's trying to do. It definitely feels like the most like merchandise based Pixar movie. It feels like the most simple of their movies, which is kind of funny because we've had. Did my stream crash? Please tell me it didn't. Please tell me it didn't. Sorry, we may be having a streaming issue. My dang internet. Sound off in the chat if we're good, guys. Sound off. Let me know. I'm getting errors here. Said I had no data when a minute ago I said I had plenty. So I think we're good. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, stream status is poor. Hold on, everybody. Hold on just a minute. Are we good? I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I stopped there for a minute. I'm just making sure that the stream is good. I'm getting errors on my end. We're good? Okay. Okay. Awesome. Sorry, everybody. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Just had an issue with the stream. It told me it was going to end. It was like, you're not getting any data. You're going to end. Anyway, going back to Cars. Going back to what I was going to say on the movie Cars, the iconic 2006 or 2005-6 Pixar film Cars. Cars. It's time to get fiber internet, Mason. I know. I need to, for real. For real. Okay. Anyway, on to Cars. I don't dislike Cars, but I think it's the epitome of like middle of the road, kind of, simple movie. Again, we've seen the story of like the big hotshot guy has to go to a, bumpkin town and deal with that thing, and it doesn't feel super compelling to me because I kind of know where it's going. I know what's going to happen in the film, and and that's fine to know what's going to happen in a movie. It's totally fine to. What it has to do, though, is it has to feel like you're going on some kind of journey with likable characters, and I don't love all of these characters. I think the most enjoyable character is probably, I think that's because of Paul Newman's performance, more than likely. I think he gives kind of a wizened old man style to his performance, and I think it's good for Lightning McQueen, but I don't love the voice acting from anybody in this movie particularly. Mater's fine as a side character. He gets a few laughs out of my family, specifically when we used to watch when we were kids, but it never charmed me in the way it did everybody else. This movie was like a huge merchandise thing for Pixar. It was a big old like sell for Pixar. I don't love it. I will say though, the positives, because there are positives. Again, something that's going to be a kind of a consistent positive throughout this video entirely, this stream, is Pixar's animation gets better and better as the technology improves, their rendering improves, their texturing improves, their modeling improves. Cars looks really good. Every movie kind of looks better than the last one in terms of like technical aspects. Style-wise, that's up to you to determine. But technicality, it always gets better. In a technical sense, it always gets better. But another positive about the film that I like, it has a unique soundtrack for a Pixar film. A lot of country hits, a lot of rock stuff. Someone who grew up around country music, the Brad Paisley stuff was charming and cool. Doug Rascal Flatts, man, liked Life is a Highway. Used to have an iPod where that was the only song I had on it. True story. Not even making that up. That's 100% true. I'm not kidding. Also, You know what keeps this movie out of D tier? You want to know what keeps this movie below a C? Chick Hicks, baby. C for Chick Hicks. Ka-chigga! Chick Hicks is hilarious. Michael Keaton's funny in that role. Genuinely great. Wish he was in the movie more. Very funny. But that's the biggest positive I had for it. Gotta be honest, not a big Cars fan. Some people may disagree. People have a lot of nostalgia for it. Totally understand that. I have brothers that love this movie. But just for me personally, Cars, I'm gonna go see. I do think it's a little better than Bug's Life, though. I'll put it above Bug's Life. I think it's a little better. Put it ahead of Bug's Life a little bit. Dadgum. Middle of the road. I made that joke and didn't even know I was making it. Didn't even know I was making a middle of the road joke. Dadgum. They done hit the Pentagon. Lightning McQueen, they done hit the Pentagon. Hold on, guys. I'm getting a message from my brother. He wants to come in and show the stream something. I'm kind of terrified as to what that means. But I guess I'll let him in. Just 1 second. Step over my light here.
Since we're on the topic of Disney.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Go on, go sit down.
I can't hear. Oh, I don't need to hear.
No, there's nothing here.
I have a 3D printer, and I 3D printed.
That's actually great.
Get 12 gifted subs who can guess what this is.
Morgan, it's YouTube. I don't do
I know. Look at that. I don't know if people will know it, but it's a Treasure Planet ball. Printed it for Marshall, one of the brothers. Anyway, turned out really good, actually. I love how it shines in the light. Look at that. Ooh. I don't know if people can see it. Is the stream buffering? I don't know. It might be delayed.
It's very delayed.
Oh. Oh well. They'll see it.
Show them the thing.
This is, whoa.
Can you try to open the map?
I can't open it, but it's really cool. The bottom got scuffed a little bit in the printing process, but I'm gonna print a stand for it so you're not. You know, it shines in the light. I ordered this gold filament a few days ago, and I kept it secret, and I'm really happy how it turned out. Like, it looks really damn good. Shout out to the guy who modeled this. I don't remember their name, but it looks really, really good. La 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 lava, chicken. All right.
Hijacking my stream.
Bye, everybody. That's what I want to do since you're on
Disney. Yeah. Oh, he's nuts. He's a crazy guy. I don't know how delayed the stream is, but Morgan came in for a minute. Let's see here. Having more fun rewatching Cars than Ratatouille? Yeah, okay, fair enough. Cars is one of the first movies I saw in theaters, so there's some nostalgia, but yeah, it's not the best. I do like the different vibe it has. Yeah, if it works for you, it works for you. I have brothers that think it's one of their favorites. It just doesn't work for me personally. I think it's entirely based on how you feel about the movie. There was a significant delay in the chat and stream, so when Morgan came in here, now I'm getting the messages about Morgan's Treasure Planet sphere that he printed. Yeah. I'll have to ask him if I can borrow that as a prop for whenever I do eventually Walt Disney Animation Studios movies rankings. Have that as a prop in the video. That is an older looking TV, Becca. It's an old CRT that I play old games on. Favorite song by Goo Goo Dolls? Well, it's easily I'm Still Here. Easily I'm Still Here. Without a doubt. I'm sorry for the stream issues on this, by the way, guys. I'm so sorry. My internet's crap. It's crap. I don't get fiber out here. So we're chugging along with Wi-Fi. We're chugging along. Not my fault. Not anybody's fault. Just where I live, I guess. Out in the middle of nowhere. I'm Still Here or Little Wonders is an insanely difficult question. Whew, that's difficult. I still think Little Wonders. No. I'm Still Here. I still think I'm Still Here. Because I grew up with that before Meet the Robinsons. Love both those movies, though. Can't wait to do a Walt Disney Animation Studios ranking so I can talk about Meet the Robinsons. Very exciting. Okay. We had a little cameo from Morgan there. And I think now that we've got our tier list going here, we've got, pretty good spread here. What's next? What's the next movie? Well, the next movie is Ratatouille. Ratatouille by Brad Bird once again. And I gotta be honest, he made another banger. Oops, all bangers. Ratatouille is a masterpiece. Ratatouille, some could argue, one YouTuber specifically, that it's Pixar's masterpiece. It's really good. Like, Ratatouille is one of the films that kind of did the opposite of Finding Nemo for me. When I first watched it, I liked it. The older I got, the better this movie got. The more I was able to appreciate the intelligent writing, the pacing, the humor in it, the message that it had about creativity and criticism rolled into it, especially towards the end. This is a beautiful, beautiful film. I love Ratatouille. I think it is a perfect meditation on the idea of creativity, the spirit of it. You're going to find what works for you, fight for that thing that you love to do. And also the message toward the end of the film with Anton Ego, where he's not really even a villain. He's just a guy that got jaded and got really used to negative criticism, and that when he found something that brought him back to his childhood, brought him back to something that he had not felt in years, that changed him, and he was able to defend the new, which I've been in that position where you see a movie or you play a game or read a book where you're like, a lot of people don't like this, but I'm going to defend this because I know it's going to be liked, or I feel it's worthy of defending. And that's something that I think a lot of people who engage in criticism or analysis of any kind, I think Ratatouille is going to resonate with a lot of people for that. And it has resonated. I love Ratatouille. Man, there's really nothing to say other than nothing to say other than Ratatouille's going to S. What can you say? I mean, really. Ratatouille. Ratatouille's S. Easy S. Rat patootie. When he got drunk, he's like, "It's a rat patootie." Do you guys think it's really cool whenever like they let animators or people that work on the film voice act? Because like, fun fact, in The Incredibles, there's like that opening scene where the guy's like stealing stuff from like a purse, and Mr. Incredible shows up and he's like, "Hey, look, man, the lady got me first." That is Linguini in Ratatouille, and he's like an animator that worked for Pixar. I think that's really cool. I like whenever they let people that are like, not famous come in and do the voices because they fit the characters so well. I think it's wonderful. Man, we're having a really good stream. I got most views I've had on a stream so far, I think, or in terms of like over the time that I've been on it. That's really cool. I'm glad you guys are very passionate about your animation. You're here to tell me where I'm right and wrong. What else we got here? Gonna go ape shit over the DreamWorks one. Yes, the DreamWorks one. When we do the DreamWorks tier list, I'm gonna on stream. The last stream was we were gonna do Pixar, then Ghibli, Studio Ghibli, and then DreamWorks after that. And then after that, we would start doing Disney about like decades, starting in the 30s with like their first films up to the modern day. That was kind of the idea that we had. DreamWorks is going to be rough for me, not only because some of their best movies are hard to rank, but also because watching them is going to be a chore. Like, unless you own them, they're on all kinds of different streaming services. With Disney, as much as I don't like Disney Plus as a platform, I think there's too many ads and I think there's some issues with it. at least they're all there. Like, I can go to the Pixar section and watch all the Pixar movies. Like, I was able to watch the ones I hadn't seen. You had to rewatch ones I had to think about. Pretty easy. Like, it didn't take me super long. Just a more convenient thing. Whereas, like, DreamWorks doesn't have, like, a native streaming service. It's just they're on all kinds of... You have to rent them on, you know... I guess rent them on Peacock, or not Peacock, I guess Amazon Prime, I think is what, or like whatever. There's a million streaming services, man. There's like a million of them now. So frustrating. Ratatouille as fitting because I cooked dinner during the stream. Did you cook Ratatouille? Next, so we'll see where I rank that one. Pretty good transition actually, because excuse me, my goodness. Excuse me, guys. Because after Ratatouille, we got WALL-E. What a... Man. WALL-E's beautiful. WALL-E really is a beautiful movie. I remember watching it for the first time and got this immediately different vibe from it. Like a very powerful vibe from the movie. I think a lot of that has to do with the film being a very visual film. Like, the character of WALL-E, the character of Eve, those characters don't speak much other than their name or like a few phrases, right? So most of this is visual storytelling, and that, from an animation perspective, is very, very good because it lets the animators and the sound designers and the, you know, all the colorists and visual artists tell that story. And the music that they chose from like Hello Dolly and old musicals really creates this almost very tragic vibe to Earth, but also beautiful. I love the shots where it starts out with like that song from Hello Dolly and you see the universe. Beautiful way to start this movie. I think this movie is great. I really do. In my opinion, it's one of their best. I'm actually a defender of WALL-E a little bit. A lot of people don't like the second half of WALL-E. I disagree. I really like the second half of WALL-E. I think it just works as well as the first half. Like, I know people got used to this story of WALL-E and Eve by themselves on the remains of Earth, but when they go to space, that's part of the film's message, is seeing where humanity has gone, seeing how we're becoming very, you know, lazy, slovenly. We're kind of getting used to relying on technology too much in outer space and leaving the Earth behind that we should have saved. And I think that adds to the themes of the film. I really enjoy the second half of WALL-E. I'm a defender, a staunch defender of the second half of WALL-E. I think it's just as worthy of being praised as the first, in my opinion. And yes, as Tanner said here, it was in the Criterion Collection, as one of my chat members just said here. It was the first Pixar film to be put in the Criterion Collection. I think it earns that. I think it has that very different prestige feel to it compared to some of the other ones, which are very, very narrative based. This one's very emotion based for the first half. It deals with these characters and how they feel. And also, I think this is one of the animated films that Roger Deakins consulted as well to help with the lighting and the shots. So it has a very beautiful cinematographer's eye to it. Yeah, what can I say more about WALL-E? Like, it's great. I think where you put it entirely depends on personal preference. For me, it's an easy A or S, but personally, I'm going A just because I think these are a little stronger emotionally for me, but I have no problem saying that WALL-E belongs here. I'd say WALL-E's even better than Monsters, Inc., in my opinion. I'd say it's a little higher than Monsters, Inc. I love WALL-E. I think WALL-E's wonderful. I think it belongs in A. I think it belongs really high. Love WALL-E. What do we think? What do we think, chat? What do we think? We agreeing with me? We disagreeing? You think I should just turn in my YouTuber badge, clock out? What do you feel? I'm never watching your video again. You didn't put WALL-E in S. I love WALL-E, though. I really do. The things that are my favorites usually end up in B. Oh yeah, Finding Nemo? Well, yeah, we got a few more spots. Maybe it'll go higher. Who knows? That's the thing about tier lists, man. Or A, yeah. A is pretty high. Again, like, it's just entirely based on, like, these are movies that I love. These are movies that I would, like, die for. Like, these three right here, if they're on, I'm glued in. I'm not changing the channel. I'm not stopping. I'm sucked in emotionally. Strong A tier, agreed. So you meant A tier. Got you, Becca. Got you. Stream connection is a little better. Oh, now that I said that, it's probably going to get worse. But with that said, this is kind of like in the era where Pixar was doing some really good stuff. Like their only really weak points were like Cars and Bugs Life, and even then, these aren't terrible movies. They're just not as strong as these films here, you know? So, with that said, what's up? That's a great transition. I'm going to steal that, Becca. As Becca here in my chat said, what's up? What's up is the next Pixar film, Up. Up is the crazy thing about Up, and I think a lot of people agree with Up. However you feel about the story of Up, the characters of Up, whatever, no one's going to argue that the first 10 minutes of this film deserved an Oscar alone. The first like 10 minutes, growing up with Carl and growing up with Ellie, like growing up and showing that life in a beautiful, fast-forwarded way with Michael Giacchino's incredible score. This was the first score I think he did for a Pixar film, and one of his best, if not his best, amazing work that he did for this movie. This is a beautiful film for that first 10 minutes. And that's when you get to the divisive part is, like, the divisive part is, how do you feel about the second half? How do you feel when the movie actually starts, when they go to Paradise Falls, the adventures that happen there, meeting Charles Muntz, meeting all of the dogs that talk, and it becomes kind of an action adventure, sort of like a, mystery kind of movie, or not mystery, but you know what I mean, like an old school adventure film. How do I feel about the second half of Up? I like it. I like that part of the movie. I do. I think it is good. This is another one of those films that I think the more I watch it, the less I tend to enjoy the movie as it goes on, but I do not think it is bad by any means. I think this is a really good movie. The score is beautiful. I think the voice acting is very, very good. I really love Ed Asner's performance as Carl. I love Russell. I think he's super cute and super funny. Is just an adorably funny character. Love the dog. Love Doug. He's very funny. Just a perfect interpretation of a dog. I think the voice works for him. Charles Muntz is a pretty damn good villain for Pixar. Pretty good. Like, you could say like, maybe he's a twist villain. You could argue that, but I would say it's pretty set up. It doesn't feel as annoying as like some other twist villains that they've done. I love the scene when he picks up all the helmets and he's like dropping them, and he gets to him. He's like, "Oh, a old man and a boy taking a house to Paradise Falls." That's a great one. I wonder how it ends. That's a super scary scene. I think it's really good. I like the imagination of the film. I like how silly it ends up towards the end. I think there's a beautiful relationship that sort of forms between Carl and Russell. But ultimately, I think that it's not as strong as Toy Story, WALL-E, Monsters, Inc., but it's still very good. I was super happy this got nominated for like multiple Oscars. I think it got nominated for like Best Picture. Glad to see it getting appreciated the way it deserves to be. Very good film. In my opinion, though, if I've got to put it on the tier list, I think it's high B. I don't know if I love it more than Finding Nemo. Yeah, I think Finding Nemo is a little stronger than Up, but overall, Up is really good. I do like Up. How are we feeling about Up? Did I make anybody mad with Up? Should Up be a little higher for some people? I think Toy Story 2 was going to be directed. I know. Hard to imagine, right? Toy Story 2 being a direct-to-DVD movie is crazy. Glad it didn't. I mean, even if it was, it would have been one of the best direct-to-DVD movies of all time, right? First 10 minutes are heart-wrenching now that I'm an adult. Yeah. I'm glad you're able to connect with it that way. Call me Sangumio. Okay. If Link from Zelda could be adapted, I think he should speak like young Carl, where like he doesn't speak. He just says a few like audible noises. Yeah, I think that would work. Have a New Adventure is also a great scene. I think it works. I think it's a beautiful callback to the beginning of the film. And again, the best scenes in this movie are the dialogue-less scenes. Like that scene where he goes and he reads that book, the adventure book that Ellie left, and it's like Have a New Adventure, like our chat pointed out here. That's a great scene that again didn't require a lot of dialogue. It was just Michael Giacchino's few notes on that piano and Carl looking at that book and realizing what Ellie wanted for him. Great stuff. That's what I think got up that Oscar nomination that it got for like Best Picture. If I remember right. But yeah, so far we seem to be on the same page. Nobody's coming for my throat yet. Nobody's trying to rip me apart. I'm not going to change it just because everybody gets mad though. Like if I dropped one in F that everybody loved, I'm not going to change my mind. It's just how I feel, you know. We'll see if it changes, Chris. We will see. Especially with the next one, because our next film is a big one. Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 was like, it's like a phenomenon when it came out. Like, I remember this coming out, and, you know, I was first blown away that a Toy Story was actually coming out in theaters again. It had been so long since Toy Story 2, but that also puts a lot of pressure on Toy Story 3. Because for a lot of people, including myself, Toy Story 2 is like the best sequel ever. It's like the best Pixar sequel, best Pixar movie, probably. So how do you follow that up? Well, you make Toy Story 3. That's how you follow that up. Toy Story 3 is excellent. It really is. Toy Story 3 understood what made the first two movies work and expanded on that by taking its time. It didn't feel like a cash-in. It felt like a genuine progression of that story. Those years had passed since Toy Story 2. We had been so long without a Toy Story movie that when Andy grows up, in a way, we feel like we grew up as Andy did in real life. We were older with these movies. Some of us were, you know, I was a little younger, but some of us were in high school going off to college when Toy Story 3 came out. Some of us were more into video games and putting our toys away and kind of moving on from that. Some of us were looking back on these movies in a different way, and I think that genuinely affected the audience in several ways. And that's one of the strongest things about Toy Story 3. The nostalgia doesn't feel like just nostalgia service. It feels like a genuine progression of the story. It feels like a real direction for the story to go. People were obsessed with this thing when it came out, and rightfully so. Like, Toy Story 3 is really good. Again, a lot of positives. The animation is great. Again, like all these movies, the animation just improves year after year after year, and seeing these characters, their models not changing too strongly, but they still look great. They look like you remember them in a weird way. Like they look so good. You're like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I remember that they looked like, you know? You get one of the best Pixar villains of all time in Lotso. Lotso is an incredible villain. Just a real evil, but you also kind of get it character in a way. Like, you genuinely understand his motivations, but you also see the holes in it. Like, you see where he's wrong as well. Like Woody towards the end pointing out that, like, no, she only replaced you and you couldn't handle that. And that's crazy, because that also could be a sign of love. She couldn't live without Lotso compared to the other two. She had to replace it. But Lotso didn't interpret it that way. And it's hard for him to interpret it that way. We got Michael Keaton showing up again in a Pixar movie and showing most people in it as Ken. Hilarious. Now the second best Ken because of Barbie, but either way, great performance. Even Barbie got a real character arc in this. You know, people were given character arcs. We've now grown to love these characters. We've seen them struggle. We've seen them go through character change after character change, and we see now where they are in life. They want to be appreciated as toys. They want to be played with, and you understand why they would be so quick to accept going to a daycare center, you know. And then you see Woody's journey in this one being like, yeah, it's time to let go. It really is, because in a way, he, you know, was going to go to college with Andy. Andy chose to go with him, and Woody had to make that choice. He put himself in that box toward the end of the film. That's a very strong thing to do. Very, very strong. If I had to point out a flaw with Toy Story 3, honestly, it's not a big one, but it's one that sadly does get bigger. I think Buzz Lightyear, my boy Buzz, gets a little shafted after Toy Story 2, in my opinion. He is not a strong character in this movie. He works. Like, I think he's funny in this. I think he has some great lines. But he spends most of the film being in Spanish mode, which is very funny. I love his Spanish mode. But that's the majority of what he's doing for, like, a good amount of the movie. And he's also resorted back to Space Ranger Buzz even before that. So there's not a whole lot of like Buzz work here because I think they went as far as they could with his character. So that was kind of disappointing. But for the most part, if that's really my only flaw with this, that's the only flaw I got. It really is. Toy Story 3 is great. In my opinion, we're going to plug this into the tier list. It's an easy A. And that's where I'm going to keep it. I know a lot of people love this one and thinks it's even better than like the first one. I don't think so. I don't think it's better than these movies here, personally. Still love it, though. Easy A. Pixar's going to have a lot of A's, I feel like. Good A movies. Thank you, Pixar, for Toy Story 3. Badass movie. If you ask Quentin Tarantino, it's like his favorite movie. He loves that movie. So, love it. Toy Story 3 is great. How we feeling? Strong A for Toy Story 3. Watch as a good villain because he can be helped. Yes, I agree. I agree, Lucky Hamburger. Buzz was kind of used completely in 2, and like the other 2, they didn't know what to do with him, so they just made him comedic relief, which Buzz is funny, and he is comedically funny in the first 2, but there was a character growth that like stops in 3, in my opinion. In 2, Buzz was silly, but he was only silly because he'd like become a smarter character, but he was still kind of naive to things. And like the delicious hot schmoes line is funny because you feel like Buzz would make that mistake. You know? We'll get to it when we get to 4, but there's a big issue I have with Buzz, especially in 4. Like I really do. Get a drink again. Oh man, it was, Tanner. The last animated movie to get a Best Picture nomination. That, you know, I have a feeling. I want to be optimistic. I do hope that in the future, another animated film gets a Best Picture nomination. Because I feel like there have been some that are worthy of at least a nomination since this movie. I really do. Genuinely. Maybe I should go over that one day. It'd be fun. Been loving your videos since Treasure Planet and Hellfire. Glad you catch this. Thank you so much, Lucky Hamburger. I appreciate it. Love your name. Love the name Lucky Hamburger. Treasure Planet was a fun one in Hellfire also. Like those are videos I'm very proud of. Especially because I got to work with my brother on both of them. Like I asked Morgan for musical advice on Hellfire, and then they got to work together on a song for Treasure Planet. So I love anything where I get to involve my friends, or my brothers and friends. Erica Hellfire brought me here to thank you so much for watching that. That's one of the best videos I've done. One of the few where I look back on it and go, man, I had a lot to say. Had a lot to say on that one. You know, sometimes I worry if what I'm saying is like meaningful, but with Hellfire, that'd been a song that was like in my head for so long. I was like, I know what I'm going to say, you know, when I get to it. But yeah, at this point, Pixar is kind of riding high. You know, they're doing well. Just got a Best Picture nomination, as pointed out by chat here. They're doing a great job. And unfortunately, it's kind of crazy to look at Toy Story 3 and see that Cars 2 followed it up. That's a problem. Is anybody going to argue that this isn't the worst thing Pixar's ever done? Like, is anybody going to argue that? There might be a few people that do, but Cars 2 is bad, man. Like, it's just straight up bad. It's kind of amazing that Toy Story had amazing sequels because there was so much you could do with Toy Story. What more could you do with Cars? Like, what was that big thing in Cars other than the merchandise sales, which is more than likely why they did it, to make not only a sequel to Cars, but to make a Cars sequel that was a spy action movie. Yeah, that's what I wanted to see after the first Cars, a movie about like a celebrity learning to be humble. Yeah, let's take Mater, this already kind of grating side character, make him the main character, and put him in a spy movie. What a bafflingly stupid decision. This movie's embarrassing. It is an embarrassing movie to have in their repertoire. Genuinely. If you like it, fine. I just don't get this movie. I've never understood it. I never saw it going this way. It was never exciting. Just, man, what a bad movie. And I saw it in theaters too. People were asking for a refund for Cars 2. I don't deny it, man. I don't deny it, Erica. I do not deny it. Genuinely. Don't doubt it at all. Yeah, Cars 2. Easiest F tier of my life. Easiest. It's crazy to look at what they had before. To look at all this. Even these here are not terrible. These are not wastes of time movies. They're just fine. This is so bad. So bad. Can't believe how bad it is. Genuinely can't. Man. Bold how dark it gets alongside the cringe. I found this movie scary, which doesn't help me defend it. Yeah. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. There might be some absurdity to enjoy within it, but for me, I don't want to ever watch it again. I just don't ever want to do it. I feel like Cars 2 is racist. Is it? I don't... Yeah, there might be some insensitive things in I think there's they go all over the world in that movie. So there might be some insensitive portrayals. I have not seen it in a minute because I just genuinely don't want to. And also, I saw it a lot because, again, my brothers enjoyed these movies when we were much younger, so I've seen it many, many times. So this wasn't like a one-time watch, and then I was like, nope, I have seen it many times, and every time it just somehow got more annoying. Also, very stupid villain in the movie. There's a whole lot to rant on. Luckily, there are so many videos made about how bad this movie is. Shea Frulis did it, You can go find videos about how bad it is and just dissecting how stupid of a movie it is. But man, what a misfire. What a tragic misfire. And one, unfortunately, in my opinion, they didn't recover from for a good minute. And that's where I'm probably going to get this. The stream's probably going to piss people off there. This video as well is going to make people mad with the next choices that I have to say. Yeah, it could be one of those funny laughing at it movies. Again, any movie with friends is somehow improved, genuinely. There are very few films that I've watched that weren't improved by the presence of my friends and people that I've watched it with. Okay. We're getting into the slump here. In my opinion, the Pixar slump. So we had Cars 2. Any movie after Cars 2 is going to be better. I wish it wasn't Brave, though. People like Brave. I'm not one of them. I've never enjoyed Brave. This is Morgan, who made an appearance on the stream a little while ago, has a bigger hatred of this than me, but he really dislikes it. He doesn't like the story about people getting turned into animals. And I kind of get why. It's so predictable, and there's nothing in it that is compelling once that character becomes an unspeaking creature for the majority of the movie. And it already didn't help that I didn't like the characters that much to begin with. There are cool things about it. I do like some of the music. I do like the environments that they show at the beginning of the film. I think there's some funny stuff with some of the suitors that show up, but that's really about it for me. I have watched this 3 or 4 times and never could vibe with it really that much. I think some of the best stuff was I like like someone in the chat here said, the Scottish vibes are pretty cool. I like that. But the characters were kind of annoying to me. They whined the whole time. Merida and her mom were just kind of whiny and didn't act like mature people and couldn't just talk it out, And I like the big evil bear in it. I thought that was cool. Didn't show up a whole lot, but I thought that was cool. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about Brave. I really don't have a lot to say about this movie. Didn't love it. Not a big fan. I will say it's not F tier. It's not F tier bad. I would say, because it's just a big nothing to me, maybe maybe an E. I think I'll go E. I think E makes a little more sense than like F, but also there's not enough redeeming factors of it for me to put it in D. Just how I feel anyway. How do we feel about the chat? How do we feel? How do we feel? Anybody want to kill me yet? I just joined, but based. Hey, thank you. Let's see here. It's so controversial to dislike Brave, but I'm with you. I hate aggressively mediocre movies more than bad ones. Yeah, it just doesn't. It didn't capture me. I think like when the first trailer came out, I thought there was some cool stuff in it, but the movie just didn't vibe with it in that way. If they didn't go down the bear route, this movie could have been great. Yeah, I feel you. I do. Which was better, Brother Bear or Brave? I think Brother Bear was a little better, but I also don't love Brother Bear a whole lot. I have to talk about that whenever I do the Disney tier lists that we're going to do. Let's see here. It's good mommy issues content, but not the best mommy issues movie. Yeah, it's you know, actually there's a good mommy's issue movie here as well that we'll get to when we talk about it. This is not it's an early family trauma Disney movie which became like a huge thing for a while. Not complaining, but that became like a big part of their movies, and not even really I'm the villain. It was just like family trauma. That's the bad guy, you know. I want the spiel to change my mom. If you can't change your feet. The Scottish accents. Love it. Genuinely. I love Scottish accents. I think they're super cool. Okay. After Brave, we got Monsters University. I have a feeling. Got a feeling. Monsters University might be my most controversial take on here. People really love this movie. It has gotten more popular since it came out. And I wanted to like it. I was like, dude, love Monsters, Inc. I don't know how I feel about a prequel, though. And I was like, okay, I'm open to it. Didn't like it. Just didn't. And I've watched it many times wanting to vibe with it. Yeah, Monsters University didn't really go for me. There are things I like, and I will get the positives out of the way. I do think there are really good scenes in it. I like, you know, the sort of scene towards the end of the film whenever Mike and Sully sort of work together. I really enjoy that. I like Randall's sort of like petty evolution into a bad guy. I think that works for him. It's not a major focus. I like the performances of Billy Crystal and John Goodman. I think they always work well. There's a charm that they have on me that'll never go away. But at the end of the day, I do not care about like a college movie with the Monsters, Inc. characters. Like, it doesn't excite me. It doesn't, like, I know there's no stakes because they end up working together anyway, and their conflict isn't that interesting. Like, I would have loved to see a movie of them coming together through different circumstances and not a petty rivalry. And I don't, like, Mike being the main character, I'm not mad about. I actually like that idea because Sully was the focus in the first film. I don't care for Mike's arc in this. I didn't connect with it as much as I thought I was going to. Yeah, this one just didn't do it for me. It really didn't. But a lot of people like it, man. There have been like whole essays on it about how great it is. There's people that say it's one of the best. I will say also the music is really good. The music is very good. I've heard people laud the music, justifiably so. It's very good. In my opinion, it's a D. In my opinion, and I'm sorry to anybody who likes it, but in my opinion, it's a D. Not as bad as Brave. It's not forgettable. It's not mediocre. There is good stuff in it. There are very good scenes in it. And it's nothing as bad as Cars 2 yet. So for me, Monsters University is a D. I think it belongs. It's there for me. If people want it higher, I understand. If you do, feel free. This is called All Pixar Animation. Go make your own tier list and let me know what it is. I genuinely would like to know. If we want to, we can go check the community rank after this. That'd be kind of fun. But let me know what you guys think. I'm sorry if people, like it. The Scream Extractor was very scary, Becca. It was very scary. I like Washington University. Hey, the human world scene is top tier. Yeah, it's very good. I do like it. Hard Scrabble's okay. Helen Mirren does a decent job playing the character, but I like the beginning stuff. Ending is real good, but once the whole scare game's plot comes into play, I could lose interest. Yeah. It's low B, high C. I'm sorry. It's a D for me, unfortunately. I don't think there's enough to bring it up to like okay. I just don't want to watch it as much as the others. I think for me it belongs in D. Me personally. This is just how I feel. But yeah, I think though the next one will be a little more interesting because after Monsters University, after that movie, in my opinion, we reached levels of We Are So Back that are unfathomable, I should say. We reached unfathomable levels of We Are So Back. Inside Out was great. Inside Out, to me, when I went and saw this in theaters, I was so like, man, I have not felt the Pixar magic in so long. And Monsters University was so disappointing and all this other. I was like not into it. Inside Out captured my heart in ways that I didn't think I was ready for. I was like, there's the Pixar that I was missing for so long was Inside Out. I was missing it. And I'm so glad that it came back. I'm so glad that this is what they went with. I love the concept. Yeah, it's not completely original. People complain about that. Like, oh, it's ripping off. Look, personifying emotions has been done forever. Get over it. It's not unoriginal. What is original about it, what does work, is how realistic Riley is portrayed and how much you can see this film as a film about a girl going through a difficult time, moving to a new place, learning new things. Those are difficult things for a kid. And when you're a kid, you see the world through this amplified way, especially when you're growing up. And I felt so touched by that because I had been through things like that growing up. It's hard to move to a new place. It's hard to meet new people. It's hard to have your life change. And some emotions just start taking over. You feel like you can't find happiness anymore. And all you have is anger and disgust and sadness. And the film stresses the importance of sadness. It gives sadness a platform. And that's okay. It's okay to be sad. It's very okay to be sad. And the movie makes a point out of that. Like, some of the greatest moments of our life start with sadness, start with our low points. A lot of people in the chat, probably, some people that I know, and definitely me, struggle with depression. Depression's hard. And I needed that cry that I got after watching this, like, to open up to your family and be like, it's hard, but I need you and the family to be so appreciative and be understanding of her. I loved it. This was a beautiful film, and it proved that you can do so much with so little. You really can. It's a simplistic film, but it's a beautiful one. Love Inside Out. Perfect voice cast from everybody. Like Amy Poehler is just joy. Like, that's joy. Everybody worked so well in this. This is wonderful. This is a great movie. In my opinion, plugging it into the tier list, it's an easy A. Easy for me. Especially when I needed it after, the run we had for a minute. I needed it, and I was glad to get it. And yes, the Michael Giacchino score for this one. Oh, man. Beautiful. Beautiful. If it was Michael Giacchino, I hope it was. We're seeing some agreement. We're seeing some agreement in chat. I think I overcame my Monsters University thing. I think we're good there. I think we're good. I wonder if it's I wonder where I'd put it above these other ones. I think I'll keep it where it is. Do I like those other ones more is what it depends on. I think I do. But it's an easy A, though. It's an easy A for that emotional climax. It's definitely an easy A. It has that Pixar moment. Like, the moment you think of in Pixar is that moment when the emotions are so strong and the music comes in just right and these characters let themselves be and get out that thing that's on their chest. Inside Out had it. Loved Inside Out. All right. Now, it's time to go to the next Pixar movie. The Good Dinosaur is the next one. Now, let me start by saying I watched this pretty recently. I did not see it when it first came out just because of, stuff at the time, just going through shit at the time. This is a pretty easy movie. Pretty easy movie to impress me with. Like, I love dinosaurs, right? My first video was about Jurassic Park and dinosaurs on land, and also not dinosaurs underwater. That's one of my dumbest things I ever said. But I was it was beginning. I didn't have time to change it. I thought I confidently said that they were dinosaurs underwater when they're prehistoric underwater creatures, whatever. Love dinosaurs. And that is why, unfortunately, even though it was perfectly set up to grab my heart, I didn't care for this at all. This was boring as hell. Like, it was so disappointing, and just it dragged, and I didn't feel invested in it, and I don't like this one at all. Not at all. Don't want to watch it again. Didn't care for it. Sorry to anybody who likes it. Genuinely, I'm sorry. Did not vibe with me. There are positives, and I will say the positives. I always do. I think every film has positives. I like the idea. I really love the idea of like a society where the meteor did not hit Earth, and dinosaurs have grown to sort of farm and forage and be the dominant species, with humans being more like animals. I like that concept. And I liked the beginning of the film. I was like into it. I was like, this is really cool. I loved seeing them live their farmer life. I liked how their society was kind of shown off. I wish I could have seen more of it. That was something I was looking forward to. Then it became like the buddy movie with the Arlo and like the human, and it didn't grab me in the way that I was hoping it would. I think also I would have liked it for like, it has kind of an antagonist, but it doesn't focus on it, which I'm okay with, because I don't think every movie needs to have like a strong villain. But it needed something. It needed something, a little more to me. Also, without a doubt, a big positive, this movie's gorgeous to look at. The environments are absolutely beautiful. Almost like photos to look at. And that was the best part. Like, I was a little bored, but hey, I got very pretty images to look at. And I think it kind of clashed with the cartoony dinosaur design a little bit, but I don't think that's a huge flaw. I think that's just a stylistic choice. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to get off my chest here, except for I knew where it was going. Very predictable stuff. Also, like, they make a whole thing in this movie about getting back to his parents, or like his mom and his brothers, or his brother and sister, and you barely get to know them. Like, I think there's like, they come back, he gets all the way back after trekking through, to get back home, and his mom says, "Oh, Arlo," and that's it. That's all we get of the reunion between these characters. But also, there's barely a mom in the movie. There's barely the brother and sister. We don't get to know these people. We get to know the dad a little bit, and that was kind of sweet, but then the dad was really dumb and got himself killed. Like, the death of the dad made me laugh out loud. It was so abrupt and silly. I did not expect it at all. It was his fault entirely. But it's fine if you enjoy this one. I don't see why people... I don't see... I guess what I was trying to say is I understand why people would enjoy this. I understand completely why people would like it, but it did not work for me, and which is crazy because I love dinosaurs. Should have been a home run for me. I just couldn't connect with it. I don't think it's completely worthless. It's better than Brave. But do I put it here? Where are we going? I think we're going to go there. I don't hate it though. The only movie here I hate, Cars 2. That's the only one I'm like, ugh, bleh, don't like. Anyway, very sorry if I upset people here. I am very sorry. I apologize. I hope you know it's not personal. Just my opinion. D for Dino. There you go. There we go. D for Dino. That's what it is. That's why I did it. D for Dino. I think it's better than Brave. Everything is gorgeous except for the main character's design. Yeah. Yeah. It didn't work for me. Didn't work for me. Check the chat here, see how we're doing. I think Gendy's Primal did this concept better. Yeah. Pixar wouldn't do anything that mature, though. I mean, they've done mature stuff before, but like Gendy was like... Primal was very hardcore. Badass, too. One of the benefits about growing up is Lucky Hamburger is getting to do that, getting to go and watch like movies you get to choose. And it's definitely great, especially with like, that's one of the things I like to do. I hope to recommend movies to people online. That's one of the things I try to do and I want to do more of is like when I talk about something that's not as popular or not as talked about online, hopefully people go check it out. Like my anxiety video, I talked about some movies people hadn't heard of, and I was happy to do that because I want to share those with people. And Becca, that's totally fine that you like this movie. Totally fine. I would never, I've been through it before where like people treat you like, you like this? Your opinion doesn't matter. It's like, dude, people like what they want to like, man. It's totally fine to like The Good Dinosaur if you do. I don't think it's horribly offensive or terrible or anything. I just didn't care for it. Moving on to a film I feel pretty similarly about, Finding Dory. Finding Dory is not as viscerally offensive to me as Cars 2, but still feels like, why? What are we doing here? Like, why are we making a movie about Dory? What's the point? You took one line about Dory not remembering where her family was and you turned it into a whole movie. That's like Solo levels of stupid, like Star Wars Solo levels of dumb to me. I don't care about one line of character building being turned into a whole movie. It has to sustain it, and I did not vibe with Finding Dory. And this is another one people have really started to like, and I don't get it. I don't get it. I think Marlon is really annoying in this movie, which I loved him in the first one. I don't think Dory works as a main character. She's not as annoying as Mater. I will say that. This is before I hated Ellen DeGeneres entirely. But, you know, there's a few nice scenes in it. I think sweet scenes with her parents. They're very, very cute. I still think the movie's very pretty to look at, but I would have liked more scenes in the ocean and not more scenes in this, like, marine institute that isn't as pretty as the ocean, you know? Like, the one thing I love the most about Finding Nemo, we kind of spend a lot of time away from. Yeah, Marlin was a bit regressed to me. Nemo was fine. He was just Nemo again. I was worried he was going to bother me, but he was fine. It's just, I don't know, man. This one also kind of a wet fart of a movie. Didn't do a whole lot for me. But if I look and think about this one, I don't think it is as annoying as these two. I don't think it's harmful. For me personally, it's a D. For me personally, if I had to choose. C is like I would watch it. D, I don't want to watch these. I guess that's like my way of going. Music slaps is underrated as hell. Hey, it might be. Yeah. I don't remember the musical score in it. Yeah, this is just one of those that didn't need a whole movie. I don't get what we're doing here. I was like, really? Dory getting a whole movie? This is in the era now, because it's followed by another one, where Pixar was like, oh, we need to make money, so we got to make sequels nobody was asking for. And it's like, just make new stuff, because your new stuff was really good. Like, Inside Out was such a refreshing movie, you know? And The Good Dinosaur, for its issues, was an original movie. It was an original idea. I don't want more sequels to stuff. I want new original stuff. I'd rather sit through a bad new idea than a tired sequel idea, personally. And speaking of which, we got Cars 3. Gotta pull the image up there. We got Cars 3. Cars 3 kind of surprised me a little bit. I expected this to be terrible, especially after Cars 2. I was like, I never want to see another Cars movie again. Never want to see one again. Honestly, it ain't that bad. It's fine. I wouldn't say it's great or anything. I wouldn't say it blew me away. But it had a nice... It tried to go back to the way the first Cars felt, which was the most like, okay, that's the most fun part of the movie, of the first Cars. It's like, it's got a chill vibe. This one has a chill vibe too. It's not trying to be whatever the hell Cars 2 was. Like, whatever that was, it isn't. It's trying to do something a little different. The character of Lightning gets a full character closure in this one, which I do think is nice. I think it makes sense for his character to go that route. I like to see him step into the shoes of Doc from the first film. I like Cruz. I think she's fine. Again, nobody in this movie blew me away in terms of character, but I liked it. I did enjoy this one. I think it was okay. I think it's about the same level as the first Cars of like, yeah, it was fine. I'll watch it. Middle of the road. Again, another middle of the road joke. I'm making this joke without even thinking about it. I will say the biggest sin of this movie is that's not Michael Keaton as Chick Hicks. That's somebody else. I don't care that he wasn't available. Don't put Chick Hicks in the movie without Michael Keaton. Sorry to whoever voiced him. You're not Chick Hicks, okay? You don't get to say Kachiga. Only Michael Keaton gets to say that, okay? Moving on. Just gonna put Cars 3 right here. Yeah, I think this is about right. I don't like it more than the first one. I don't like it more than Bug's Life. I think it fits in C. It's a decent C movie. Kind of surprising, especially because I was like, dude, sequels, I'm so done with them. It was okay. It tried to do the first one again, and hey, it's better than what Cars 2 did, man. Like, what choice do you have with how bad Cars 2 was? I also think it's very funny that they barely put Mater in this movie because of how bad Cars 2 was. Like, Mater's not a major presence in Cars 3. He's just not. And I think that works for the best. Like that Lightning completed his arc. I agree. Yeah, there's Planes. I haven't seen Planes because it just didn't appeal to me. I need to watch it, though. I do need to watch it. I know it's not Pixar, but I should check it out. I don't know about you, but I wish we could come up with more proper movie titles rather than one or two. I have mixed feelings about that. I feel like come up with some subtitles, but also don't get rid of numbers entirely because they can be like, okay, this is a small rant. Wicked Part 1, and then calling the second one Wicked for Good is very stupid. I know Elizabeth's going to be watching this and is going to throw a fit now that I've said that on stream, and will be very angry with me, but that's just how I feel. Sequels, like letter C, that's funny. I wonder how much of this is Disney forcing Pixar to make sequels, Chris says. It might be a heavy influence. Disney's got a big marketing thing and like a big merchandising thing. And I don't know. I don't see Pixar pushing that as hard. Although, you know, you can do it well with Toy Story and like, there was toys for like Toy Story movies and they sold well and those movies were really good. But it also lent itself to having toys as well because the main characters are, fucking toys. It made sense. So, moving on from Cars 3, we hit another level of We Are So Back. Dude, Coco fucking rocks. Coco is great. I was amazed with how good Coco was. I did not have expectations going into it because it was at a time where, again, I was like, man, Pixar, you were doing really good there with Inside Out, and then you went back to sequel mode, and like, Coco was wonderful. Just a beautiful, beautiful movie with beautiful music, such a purposeful intent in its soundtrack and design, its culture, its vibe, the musical performances, the vocal performances from the main characters were wonderful. It was funny. It had a real energy that you had not seen in this company in a while in this studio. I loved this movie. I think Coco's great. And I rewatched it for this stream because I had only ever seen it, with my cousins. He brought my cousin brought over his kids, and they loved this movie. I wanted to watch it alone, and it emotionally wrecked me. Like, it was like, man, this hits so hard. It feels like that Pixar that I was missing. I felt it. I think it's really good. There aren't a lot of flaws with this one. There really aren't. This felt like a step back. We are not step backwards, but like a step back to where we're supposed to be. We're finally going, I guess, a step forward. What a terrible read, Mason. Come on, do better. But a step forward in the right direction for the studio. This had the magic that they were missing. It has a true appreciation for its culture. It has a true appreciation for the story it's trying to tell. It has just a vibrancy that I was missing. Love Coco. Beautifully animated, beautifully written film. I think Coco is a high A. Where am I going to put it? Do I like it more than Inside Out? I think so. I think a little bit more. Is it as heavy of a hitter as these? I don't know. Don't think so. Also, I think in a few years, we let Coco go on for a few more years, it might sneak its way up here. I really do think it has the potential to do that. It's got to have time to grow on me. But as of right now, easy A. It's a great film. Loved Coco. Love Coco. Glad this movie got appreciated. Glad this movie made money. Don't feel good about the sequel they just announced because, damn it, man, like, just don't do it. But that's a rant for another time. A lot of people saying they prefer the Book of Life. We have people saying that. I need to watch gotta watch the Book of Life again. Yeah, people getting mad. They just found out about the sequel. Yeah, they did announce a sequel. So dumb, man. What a dumb decision. Yeah, Book of Life and Coco were they had some similarities. They had like a very Hispanic Latin culture vibe to them. I haven't seen Book of Life in years. I saw that once and it was okay, but I have not seen it in a minute. I remember it being good though. What are they even going to do with Coco? No. What do you even do with Coco too? Like, I don't know. That's a whole different topic to get into. And speaking of sequels, Incredibles 2. So this is a rarity because Incredibles 2 is one of the very rare, very, very rare Pixar sequels that people were actually asking for. Like, people wanted this. I wanted this. For me to ask for a sequel is kind of crazy, but I thought there was so much you could do with The Incredibles and still think there is stuff you could do with it. I really do. Which ultimately makes this a very big disappointment for me. Again, this is not a bad movie. I've heard a lot of people say this is a terrible film, one of their worst. I disagree. I disagree completely. I think this is a good movie. But sadly, it's not a great one. There's a lot of issues here. I think it falters in its villain. I think it falters in its focus. It doesn't quite know what it wants to focus on. I don't hate either of the stories in it, but I don't think they work well together. Like, I was invested in what Elastigirl was doing, great action sequences, great stuff. I was invested in what Mr. Incredible was doing, but like, he kind of comes off as a bit of a jerk in this one, which he wasn't in the first movie, in my opinion. I don't think he was, the jerk that he was in the first one that he is in this one. I think the animation is very, very good. However, I do agree. A lot of people are like, there's a weird level of realism that they put on Mr. Incredible that makes him look a little off, but again, it's just seeing him in a higher definition is a bit odd. I would have liked to see them age these characters a little more, because taking place right after, I don't know. I would have liked to see it many years later, personally. But there are good things about it. Again, great score. There's a great visual style. I like some of the new heroes they introduced to it. I like the action sequences. They're very well done. Like, the first Incredibles had amazing action sequences. They just really know how to direct them. I like the concept of the screenslaver. I hate who it ended up being, because it was so predictable that I was like, they really can't go here. They can't do this. And they did. They put a twist villain in My Incredibles. In My Incredibles, man. Like, come on. With all that said, ultimately, with the good things this movie does, it still ended up being a bit disappointing to me. I don't think it belongs lower than C, but I think, unfortunately, it is a C. I think it's fine. And it's sad that The Incredibles ended up being fine. It should have been much better. I do like it better than A Bug's Life and all these other ones. I think it's the closest to being good of all of these. But unfortunately, I can't give it higher than that. I really can't. It's just fine. And that's sad, because I wanted to like it, like, a lot. I really did. Yeah, it was pretty disappointing for a lot of people. Incredibles 2 is an F for Lucky Hamburger. Man. I don't think it's an F. I don't think I hate it. I'm just disappointed by it. I think I outright hate Cars 2. That's the one I'm like, this is awful. There might be one more. Maybe, depending on how I feel. But right now, the one I hate the most, like, I just feel a utter contempt for, is Cars 2. So, that's the way I feel. Oh, that's a twist villain. That's a twist villain in My Incredibles. Really, it felt like, oh man, this was, because like The Incredibles was so cool, because like, it doesn't have a twist villain. Like, I know people are like, oh, Buddy's a twist. No, he's not. You knew it was going to be him. And they revealed it like fast. What's up? Paul Borghese, what's up? How's it hanging? How's it doing? How we doing? The live is going great. Live is going wonderful. We're having some great viewership on this live, guys. Thank you so much for dropping by and showing up while we're doing this. The most concurrent viewers I've had in a good minute, I think. We're making it through. We're trudging through. We're getting on. Getting on with it. So, after Incredibles 2, okay, we got another sequel that we did not need. Toy Story 4. Now, however, Toy Story 2 is okay. It's okay. The problem is, for a Toy Story movie to be okay is kind of criminal, considering how good the first three are. There's been no Toy Story movie under A. This will be the first one under A, unfortunately. This one, people like either love it or violently hate it. I don't either of those. I think I'm kind of somewhere nudged towards dislike, but not all the way towards it. I don't feel disdain for this movie by any means. I don't feel hatred for it, but I do feel like, what are we doing here? I almost was like, man, it better not be like Cars 2. Luckily, it wasn't anything like Cars 2. There was some love and care put in here. It's gorgeously animated. All the actors do a great job. There are some good emotional moments, but they feel like emotional moments just because I love the characters and not for what they do in the movie. It's entirely baiting my nostalgia. And a Toy Story movie, as we saw from Toy Story 3, it let that time grow from having a movie. This one didn't do anything with it that was interesting to me. I like the idea of Bo Peep. I don't like how they presented it. I think they kind of don't show her growing enough, which is crazy because like they portray her as like, oh, she's a survivor, and I like that idea. We don't get enough of it happening, you know. They also show us a Bo Peep that was never in the first two films. Like Bo Peep was always like, you know, little Bo Peep. She was, you know, she played the damsel in all of Andy's games or whatever. They try to imply she was never like that, and that's just an outright lie at the beginning of the movie. But that's a whole thing. I do like Bo Peep in this movie. I think she's fine. I like Duke Kaboom. I like some of the side characters. The plushies are fine. They kind of overdo their jokes though. The Key and Peele plushies. But man, Buzz Lightyear, dude. My man Buzz. What y'all do to my man? What did you do to my boy? My boy Buzz Lightyear, who I love dearly. What did you do? He's nothing in this. He's an outright moron in this movie. There's like scenes where he's like, oh, my inner voice, is it this button that I press? And it's like, that's not Buzz Lightyear. Like, yeah, Buzz is naive, but Buzz isn't stupid. He's not a dumb person. He saved Woody in Toy Story 2. He was the guy holding the group together in that movie. And they made him a moron in this. What was the point of doing that? His character is so shafted, even worse than 3. And Woody, in my opinion, acts a little out of character here. I know that there's more videos on it than what I could give. People argue it's a natural progression for him. I disagree. I think Woody does have what's consistent about him, I will say, is that he wants to be good for kids. He wants to provide that nurture, that care for children. He loves to do that. However, like you'd think after the first movie, he would learn like, hey, as long as we're here for Bonnie, it's fine. But he becomes kind of self-absorbed in this one. Like he's not getting played with. He doesn't have anything to do. I don't think that is the right angle to take Woody personally. Didn't enjoy watching it. Didn't like him yelling at people again. Forky sucked. Forky annoyed the shit out of me. Like, can't believe we spent so much time with that guy. Can't believe it. Yeah, Toy Story 4 was all over the place. It was an all over the place movie to me. Just completely all over the place. And it just, I don't know. Where do I put it? That's what I'm going to think, because I don't think it's bad enough to be lower in these lower areas, but I don't think I want to rush to watch it again. Where do I put it? That's going to be a struggle for me. This might be the hardest one, because there are moments that shine through here, and then there are moments that just don't work. But you know, I don't feel good putting it here with these two, which I don't think. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's better than these two, but personally, kind of a downgrade for Toy Story in my opinion. In my personal opinion, it is the worst Toy Story movie, but again, you know, there's good in there. There's a really good stuff in there, but man. Yeah, it really got Best Animated Feature. Yeah. Definitely one of those times where they show the Academy's bias toward Pixar, Disney stuff. They definitely have a bias toward it because it's the only thing they think is worth it whenever there's like tons of movies a year that are probably worth it. Buzz got Yamcha'd. Yeah. Buzz was not handled well. They didn't handle my boy right. They didn't handle my boy that right. I gotta be honest. But luckily, after Toy Story 4, we did get an original. We got Onward. I was happy to see Onward. I didn't go in with high expectations, but I enjoyed it. Like, I think Onward's sweet. It's a sweet movie. There's a lot of good stuff here. I like the brothers. I think the brother dynamic's a lot of fun. I like the D&D sort of focus in the movie. Especially since it's like a fantasy world that used to have magic and then moved towards the modern world. I like that. I like that Chris Pratt's character is a D&D player. I think that was a lot of fun. I like brotherly love movies. I have a lot of brothers, so I kind of vibe with that. I think it was very sweet how they chose to end the movie. It was very beautiful. It's not an amazing film by any means, but I do think it's better than like C tier. I really do. I think I went back and watched this, and I appreciated it more the second time than the first. There are issues. I do think the biggest issue is like Chris Pratt's fine, but he's just playing Chris Pratt. Like, you know, Tom Holland in this is doing a performance. Like he is that character. His brother is just Chris Pratt, which, like, a D&D nerd, does not a Chris Pratt make, you know, doesn't fit with me. But if that's my biggest issue with it, that's not a lot of issues. That really isn't. I'd rather watch this over like Cars or, you know, or even Incredibles 2. I'd watch this over that. I think it's totally fine. And personally, without a lot to say, I do think it belongs in B. I think it's a B tier Pixar movie, personally. I would watch it again. Not as good as Up or Finding Nemo or anything like that, but I think it's a bit underrated. It's a bit underrated, if I'm being honest, compared to some of these other ones. Like, I kind of forgot it was even there whenever I was looking. I was like, oh, I forgot about Onward. I need to go check that out again, and it was pretty good. Like, I like this movie. Not a lot to say about Onward, but I think it belongs there. I really do. Just my opinion, though. Just how Mason feels. What do you guys feel? What are we feeling over here in that chat? What's the chat feeling? Wife Kitty, dude, Jack Black would have been great. Yeah, Jack Black. This is a movie that he would have fit. I think that's a common opinion. Like, even Michael Barlow here saying that too. Like, I remember on Twitter that was a common opinion. Like, the D&D brother should have been like a Jack Black type. I think a Chris Pratt type. He's fine as, like, certain aspects of this character do feel like Chris Pratt, but other aspects, like a big nerd, that's a Jack Black character. That's definitely like a Tenacious D, you know, smoke weed, play games. Like, that's a Jack Black character, in my opinion. And yeah, COVID was a big deal this time around. This is one of the few movies I actually saw in theaters post-COVID, so it was nice to see it. I don't think it hits as strong as some of the other Pixar movies, but I do think it is pretty good. I like Onward. I do. All right. So, after Onward, we got another original. More original movies. Thank you, Pixar. I appreciate it. Are we getting back into a good run? I think we are, because I really like Soul. Like, I really did. I think Soul worried me at first, because I heard from people when it came out, like, oh, it's a movie about a guy turning into a cat. I was like, oh, are we doing this? Are we doing this again? I don't love those kind of movies. It actually handled it a little better. It's still my least favorite part of the movie for the character of Jamie Foxx's character, who's Joe Gardner. For the character of Joe, I don't love him being a cat, but for 22, I think that was wonderful, what happened with 22. I like the message of the movie. I like the vibe of the movie. It's very pretty. I love its emphasis on music. Similar to Coco, it has an emphasis on jazz music, and it lets you live in that jazz world. But even more than jazz music, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did the score. And my goats can't do nothing wrong. They really can't. Even in weak movies, those dudes are banging out soundtracks that are so unique. It feels unique. The world feels unique. I love spending time in the great before, the great after. I wish there was more time there, but what I got, I really liked. And I liked that when they went back to Earth, they actually had lessons to learn while back on it. It wasn't just like goofing around with them in different bodies. They actually had a reason for it to happen. I liked Soul a lot more than I thought I was going to. I really enjoyed it. So personally, when it comes to ranking Soul, I think it's an A. I think Soul's really good. I don't think I like it more than Inside Out or Coco by any means, but it's getting there. Like, I think there was a part towards the end where I was like, man, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling really good about watching this. This is a good movie. Soul's great. I kind of had a feeling there'd be a lot of A's, because I'm really glad we're getting back, man. We're stumbling there for a minute. See what happens when you make original movies. Like, even if they don't work out amazingly, they're good. Like, you can do something original, and I want to see that more than I want to see a sequel, you know? Soul was great. Soul was wonderful. It was a beautiful movie. I had a great time with it. Yeah, for people who are musicians, I think it probably works very well for musicians. And I have a family that are a bunch of musicians, and they vibe with it as well. The piano playing. Morgan, I need to get Morgan to watch this. He skipped out on it because he didn't like the people turning into animals plots of these movies. It does it well. Like, again, it's not done in the way of like Merida's mom and like, you know, Brave, where it doesn't work for me. It works. Soul was good, man. Soul was a surprise for me. Went in there kind of nervous, left very happy. We only have 5 of these movies left. We're breezing through it, guys. We're breezing through it. How are we feeling about the rankings so far, since we're so close? I know some people have places they would put a few in different spots than me. That's totally fine. Please feel free to make your own and send it to me on Discord at patreon.com/MasonIDK. You can join the Discord for just like $2. Just saying. You can make your own and send it to me. I'll look at it. We've been doing this on the Discord. Yeah, I do think the biggest crime, Tanner, with Soul is that it was marketed more as a Disney Plus thing. It didn't get like a full theater release where it got to play like for a month or two. More movies need that in general. That's a rant I might do on another streamer video, because the theatrical release is dying, and this movie deserved a theatrical release that was like as big as, you know, some of those others. Yeah, just 5 left. And speaking of 5, I think we're going to get started with another movie that really surprised me. Luca was great. Luca was super cute. It was a very adorable movie. It had such a wonderful vibe, such a pretty environment. I love the water in this movie. I like beach movies. You know, I'm not a beach guy, obviously. I don't have, despite my incredible physique that would make everybody jealous at the beach, I'm not a big beach guy. I'm not also a sun guy. I'm a nerd. I stay inside all day. I like to stay in the darkness and my weird goblin shit. But I like environments like this, whether it's like Mario Sunshine or, you know, Wind Waker. Luca has that same kind of vibe where it's very beachy. It has a beautiful, like the Italian vista, you know, environment. I think the characters are so sweet and so likable, and they're portrayed as real, like, young boys and young girls, and that, like, they're figuring the world out and they're figuring out their independence, and it's handled so well. The stuff they do with the parents is wonderful in this. I was worried it was going to be, you know, they're not going to listen to their kid, and they end up actually doing it. The antagonist is just really funny. He's just a little piece of shit, and I like that. It's a simple bad guy. Luca was very surprising to me. I liked Luca. I didn't go in with a lot of expectations based on the trailer, but I got a lot out of it. And I like, similar to Soul, I like when I go into something not expecting a lot and leave with a good time. Just a really sweet time. It's a cute movie. I think that's the best compliment. It's just a really good time of a movie. There's a lot here that's done well. I love the imagination of the movie. I like the sequences where Luca has fantasies and he sees the world the way that a young kid would see it. And I think it's really pretty and handled well. The medium of animation lending itself to those scenes very well. It's morphin time. But yeah, Luca is wonderful. Where would I put Luca? Do I feel strong enough to put it in A? Or do I put it high B? I think it has a strong enough scene like Soul. I don't think so. I think it's a high B. Better than Onward. Honestly, controversially, a little better than Up. I'm going to be real with you. I think it's a high B. Personally do. I like Luca. It makes sense to be right up there with the other ocean-themed movie, you know? That just makes sense. Just makes sense to me. We got a lot of A's, just like I thought from the beginning. I thought we were going to have a good A split, you know? For me. It has Italian chick hicks. Yeah, that is what he feels like, isn't he? The, I can't pronounce the name. The Italian names mess with me. Erico, something starts with an E. Yeah, the rival kid. Yeah. So, Ericole, that's it. Ericole, yeah. So moving on from Luca, we get yet again another original film. I'm so happy we got a streak of original films. And you know what? similar to Luca. I think Turning Red was very cute. Turning Red was very sweet. It was a solid, sweet movie. I don't think it was amazing or groundbreaking in any way, but what I appreciated about Turning Red the most was the embracing of its style. It has this very, I know it's like a Korean family, so it has like a manhwa kind of style, very expressive, almost anime style moments in it. I like the character designs, the very bubbly, rounded character designs in it. I like that this was like their embracing, they embraced like familial trauma. Family trauma was like the big antagonist of the film. They're Chinese, my bad. Chinese, I think, right? Was it Chinese? It's Chinese. Okay. Either way, apologize if I got the nationality wrong. Chinese. It's Chinese, if it's Chinese. So either way, it embraced what the culture of it was. It embraced its identity a lot, and it had fun with it. And now I have to stress that I do feel like a dinosaur in the fact that this movie straight up has early 2000s nostalgia. Stop that. You're making me feel old. Don't do that. We can wait. Let's wait a little longer for 2000s nostalgia, please. Please. Can we just wait? Please. Anyway, joking aside, this is a really good movie. It's very funny, very cute. It's Canadian, very Canadian. Would have loved some Rush in there, but I know it was the early 2000s. They didn't listen to a lot of Rush. I just want Rush in every movie. Genuinely. Remember whenever people got really mad at this movie for like making period jokes? Like a bunch of conservatives got mad about that for some reason. What a lame thing to get mad about. It handles the idea of growing up and changing in a very unique way. I like that the character has time to connect with her friends more over this. Like, her friends are a very good support group. A very great portrayal of friends, like young friends in a strong and like a tough time trying to bond with one another. I really like that. I think it's very sweet. I like their obsession with like, the Backstreet Boys / like NSYNC. I think it was the NSYNC type like boy band. It was a lot of fun. Overall, Turning Red was a good time. Turning Red was a really good time. Very sweet, very cute movie. Similar to Luca in that it was just a really good time. Like, it's a movie that gives you a good vibe when you watch it. I wouldn't say it's the strongest movie in the world by any means. Not the strongest Pixar film, but I like a nice original Pixar film. I'm always going to give it points for that. And it's animated very beautifully. It's very sweet. I would not mind watching this again very soon. I had a good time with it. I think it belongs in B above Onward. Stronger than Onward. Not as strong as Up. Not as strong as Luca. But I liked it. Good job, Turning Red. Good job on you. God, everybody making the 9/11 joke. Because it does take place 2002. It takes place in 2002. Yeah, it was very nice having a movie focused on like tween girls. We get a lot of teen boy movies. It was nice to get a movie about girls like that. Just want to double check something right quick. I do believe they are Chinese in this movie. I just want to make sure I'm right because don't want to get something wrong here from being my dumb American self. Yeah, it's Chinese. You're right. They're right. It's Chinese. It's Chinese culture. My bad. My bad. I thought Korean because I'm a dumb American. Dumb white guy. Don't know what I'm talking about. It happens. Happens a lot. You'd be surprised. They're also in Chinatown. Mason, come on. Get it together. Get it together, Mason. So, after a really good run there of Turning Red, Soul, Luca, all those, we get Lightyear. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Seriously. Why? Tell me why. Tell me why. Okay, I had to do it. Sorry. Like, Lightyear is such a silly idea for a movie. Like, okay. Think about Buzz Lightyear as a character, okay? Think about the toy Buzz Lightyear, okay? The reason why Buzz Lightyear was so funny, the comedic value that Buzz Lightyear brought to the first Toy Story is that he was a character that felt like an amalgamation of Star Wars, Star Trek, and all those cliches of sci-fi coming together. He literally says the plot of Star Wars in the first film. A Zurg has a device capable of destroying an entire planet. I alone know the structure's only weakness. That's just the Death Star, right? And it's funny because that's what kids would be into who bought toys like that, right? That's funny. In Toy Story 2, we get a window into the world of Buzz Lightyear in the game, right? In the video game that Andy has. Why then, if this is supposed to be the movie that Andy fell in love with Buzz Lightyear over, why is it so bland and so boring and so lifeless and just devoid of the personality that Buzz Lightyear has? It would have been great if this movie, I think genius even, if it was a corny sci-fi movie that didn't take itself seriously. But this movie insists so hard that it's to be taken seriously. This is the real shit that Andy fell in love with. But like, Andy's got terrible taste in movies, dude. Andy has terrible taste in movies, I guess. Well, I mean, he's a kid, so it makes sense, right? Didn't like the way Buzz was characterized in this movie. He was a jerk. He was kind of dumb. Didn't like any of the side characters. They were all super annoying and boring. Socks literally exists to sell merchandise. That is the reason he's there. This whole film feels very cynical, almost Cars 2 levels of cynical, if I'm being honest. Like, it's that close to me. I did not like this at all. I was dreading this movie when it was coming to it. I was ready to go in with an open mic because I heard people liked it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give it a chance. I gave it a fair shot. It did not work. As a matter of fact, I wanted it to be over as soon as possible. Did not like this at all. It did not work for me. Again, animation is very impressive. There are very good showcases of environment here. There are very cool ideas sci-fi concept-wise. They all feel very reminiscent of something, but that's it. Buzz being Zurg is so dumb. Like, it's just such a dumb thing. Like, Buzz lands, they try to arrest him for like 2 seconds, and he goes, you know what? That's it. Bad guy time. And it's like, okay, maybe talk to everybody first. What? That's the motivation? That's it? He's also in the movie for like 2 minutes. That's all we get of him. What's the point? What was the point of the whole thing? It feels pointless. The whole movie feels like a pointless endeavor to bank on the name of Buzz Lightyear. That's all it feels like to me. I don't like this movie at all. Could not wait for it to be over. No. Buzz Lightyear deserves better than this. For me, boom, there it goes. Not as bad as Cars 2, but my God, it's almost there for me. I did not like it at all. Yeah, the whole movie is Buzz trying to solve a problem that everybody's like, dude, we're fine. We built a whole society here. We're cool, dude. Like, I've had family and friends. It's just your fault you're obsessed with this. Like, terrible idea. And yeah, I was glad there were like openly gay characters in it. That was great. But yeah, as they say, they killed them off. You know, of course. It's they keep bowing to like the Chinese censors and shit. So, you know, we're never gonna get. It's very rare we're actually gonna get openly gay characters in one of these movies, and it really sucks that we have to have them like coded, and be like sneaky about it because the world isn't ready for whatever reason. But like, this movie should have been funny. Like, it should have been a very silly, fun movie, and it should have been like corny, like Buzz Lightyear was. You know, like that would have been more fun of a movie, and it takes itself so seriously, and I don't like Lightyear. I was so ready for it to be over. I was like, what am I watching? What am I doing here? You know, I hope they don't do Woody's Roundup. That would be so dumb. Like, let it exist as it is. Quit trying to bank off of it, you know? Jesus. It did come out around the same time as Strange World. And Strange World did have openly gay characters in it, if I remember right. But we got Lightyear. Then we got two more. Elemental came out. Now, Elemental, I will say, original idea. We got points. Good for you. The animation's pretty. Not exactly a style that I liked, but it did have its own style. So cool for that. Just this movie was boring as shit. Like I could not get through it. I remember when it was up for an Oscar, I sat through it and I was like, this movie could have ended like 30 minutes ago. It's another family trauma sort of movie that doesn't even really rely too much on its own metaphor. Like it tries to have like a biracial couple thing going on. It doesn't really play into it too much. Like I don't quite get what it's doing with its idea. The characters do very predictable stuff in it. You know where it's going to go from the first minute. They tried to force a meme for this movie to take off. What was it? The little guy, what was his name? Claude or something? Was that his name? That stupid character they tried to force on Twitter. Like, it had good ideas. I tried to be like Zootopia and handle like race issues, immigrant issues, that kind of stuff. I appreciate that. But I just found this movie to be painfully boring and average, and even less than average, honestly. Like it just, I don't, again, tried to do something that's going to blow me away, and it just didn't. It didn't work for me. I don't have time to even talk about it. Genuinely, I don't know what I'm supposed to say other than I thought it was boring as shit. Boring as hell, in my opinion. Not as bad as Lightyear. I think it's above Good Dinosaur, but that's not saying a lot. Sorry, for anybody who liked Elemental. I did not care for Elemental, like at all. Just didn't care for it. It didn't stick with its own metaphor for whatever reason. Like it just kind of went all over the place. Like I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're going to be together. Is this where the movie ends? And then it just didn't end. It just kept going on and on. I don't, what's crazy, I struggle to remember what even happened in it, which is a problem when I didn't watch it that long ago. That's a problem. That's an issue. But we're on to one last movie. Can we squeak out with one last great movie? Yes, we can. Man, Inside Out 2. What a shock to me. I remember when the trailer dropped Inside Out 2, I was so nervous. I was like, dude, I love Inside Out. Do not screw up Inside Out 2. I was like, I don't know if I feel about this. They replaced some of the actors in it for whatever reason. I was so nervous. I was like, I can't. Did this need a sequel? Did it need it? You nailed it. The one sequel I thought you really didn't need, you managed to expand on something that worked in the first film. You gave her new emotions. You handled new stuff in this movie. A girl going through puberty, going through those changes. You took, and again, it's simple. It doesn't try to be bigger than it is. It's a girl going through puberty, growing up. That's a normal thing that happens to people. You know? That makes sense. Like the first movie was all about her moving. This one's about her going to like a camp for hockey and trying to fit in with other people and not making the right choices out of fear of, being ostracized. And that's beautiful. And we've been through that. I think a lot of people have been through that. This movie was like already riding high on B for me. High B tier, gonna go way up there. And then it hit the scene where the line comes in where it says, I'm not good enough. And I was like, well, you did it again, Inside Out. You spoke to my damn depression. You hit me right here, movie. And I'm shocked, genuinely floored by how good this movie was. Floored. And I'm so glad that Pixar, at least right now, where we are on the tier list, was able to get another A out there. Do I think it's better than Soul? I actually, Nah, I think I'll keep it there. I'll let time tell. It's more recent. But here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, people of all ages, all genders. Here it is. The Pixar tier list. Finished, complete, ready to go. I may do like a numbered ranking at this point in the video. I'm going to release this as its own video. So in the video, we'll put it here, a ranking from like 28 to 1 of how I actually rank them. But this is how I feel. This is how I feel about Pixar. This is the way we're going. So glad that there's, so many A, B, and S tiers here. Like, they've made more good movies than bad movies. And that's saying something. Like, to wrap it all up here, Pixar is one of those studios that deserves the respect that it gets. It really does. It has some very talented, very, very beautiful movies. I guess I start that over. It has some very, very beautiful work put into these movies. Very talented people working on those movies. People from all walks of life that are willing to show parts of their personality, parts of their culture, things they've been through the art of animation and show it to the world. And yeah, they stumble. They make some sequels that aren't great. They kind of have Disney force them into a corporate greed kind of thing going on every once in a while. But for the most part, though, they're able to squeak out some classics every once in a while. Some movies that I think are going to be remembered very, very well. And some that stand the test of time, truly. I'm so glad that looking at this chart here, only a few I would consider not worth it. These here, even the C ones, I'll watch. Like these A, B, and S tiers specifically are like the strength of this company, the strength of this studio. And they've given us some memories. They've given us some classics to watch. I truly, truly love Pixar. I can't wait to see what they do next. I'm worried, but I'm going to be optimistic because even during the sequel thing, they were doing the sequel rush of movies, they were able to give us the classics while they were doing it. They were able to give us some great original films. I'm very happy to see they're going back into theaters more. They're not doing these straight to Disney Plus things like Soul turning red, that deserved a bigger theatrical release, but they ended up going to streaming pretty much. Yeah, that's how I feel. This is the Mason IDK Pixar tier list. This is how I feel. This is my ranking. I wonder what the future holds for them, but we'll see. We will have to see. We'll have to hold on to hope. I think it's worth it. I think it really is that they'll give us a few more bangers, We decided on the first stream where we discussed this idea that we would start with Pixar, move on to Studio Ghibli next. So I'll have to start watching some of those I haven't seen and rewatching the classics. Take me some time to do that. I'm very excited because there's some I haven't seen yet that I'll have to check out. So I can do a tier list on that. And then after that, we do DreamWorks. Do some DreamWorks. That'll be a fun one. And then after that, I think what I'm going to start doing is Disney, but break it up by I don't remember whose idea in the chat it was. I have to look back on the previous one, but I'll mention it. It was, we would do Disney by decade. It would be like the 30s and 40s of Disney, because there's so many Disney movies, it would take forever to go through all of them. So we'd separate it that way, and then at the end rank them all. And I think that's fun. I had a good time. Doing this. Thanks for being here with me. Thanks for watching the video version of this that I'll be putting up. Let me know in the comments what you think. In the chat as well. Thank you so much for your opinions, chat. I appreciate you guys showing up. Really high viewership for this stream. I really appreciate it. Love having everybody here to talk about and share my opinions with. It's one of the reasons I do videos. If you want to join the Patreon and send me your own tier list, I would love to see you do it. Please do so. Sub to the channel if you haven't. Sub to it. I'm doing an outro for the video, so subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Check out some of my other videos if you haven't done so. Actually, before we head out for the evening, let's look at the community rank. You think it's a good idea? Let's see what the community ranked for these movies. Oh, Michael, it was your idea. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for that idea. It was Michael Barlow's idea to do that. Thank you. Proper credit. This is what the community thinks. I got a lot of S's here. Yeah, nah, I'm not. Cars and S is kind of wild to me. No, I wouldn't do that. Yeah. Man. That's how the community feels. That's funny. I disagree, but hey, yeah. People are allowed to feel how they feel, you know? Go back to my list here. Interesting comparison. Very excited for the next ranking stream. Whenever we do it. Yeah, did they put Inside Out 2 on the bottom? Hold on. We gotta analyze that community rank a little more. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. This lower than Cars 2 is absurd. That's crazy. It's hard with community ranking. I think they are just going by like the average, but my goodness. That shows you how much people love these movies, though. Shows you how they love movies, though. They grew up with a lot of them, I'm sure. That's how they feel. Get rid of this here. But I want to thank you all for stopping by. Oh, Sony would be good, too. Yeah. Just give me all kinds of suggestions in the comments and chats, guys. I will, I love things to do to kind of organize our live streams and things like that. Keeps us going. Keeps us focused, you guys appreciate the cursed thumbnail for this live stream that I did? I don't know if the actual video will have that that thumbnail. I'll probably do something, but have a good evening, Michael. Thank you so much for showing up. The best films with the worst, yeah. Thanks, Nunya. Thanks for coming by, guys. Again, love having the audience here to hang out with. You guys are wonderful. Have a good evening, Becca. Have a good evening, everybody. I'm about to sign off myself. Got to start watching all those Ghibli movies. I don't really need an excuse to watch Ghibli movies, though. Kind of love them, so. Thank you, Lucky Hamburger. I appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. You're wonderful. Truly. So happy to have this channel and to get to hang out with everybody. It means a lot to me. Truly. I think we're about ready to sign off. All right, guys. Thanks for coming by and have a wonderful evening. Take care.